The Priestess's time travel. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 476 System Operation 1. Long Kato lived in the second half of his life in the torture of Heshli. Heshli would not let him die easily. She would let Long Kato live a long time to welcome her revenge. The dual monarchy of the Qing dynasty did not last long. After Master Kang died, the cabinet and parliament took back most of the power in the hands of the monarch, and the dual system became a parliamentary constitutional monarchy. It was still the fourth prince who succeeded Master Kang, but he only had the title of emperor and had no real power at all. Although the time-traveling women in his backyard became concubines or something after he ascended to the throne, their treatment was far from what they imagined. These time-traveling women were dumbfounded when the Qing dynasty was transformed into a constitutional monarchy. Which strong man? The butterfly wings flapped so hard? You are so powerful, what should we time-traveling women do? How can our sons become real emperors? How can we be the most honorable women in the Qing dynasty, the Empress Dowager? You are cutting off our way to strive for progress. I don't know what these time-traveling women complained about. After Su Qingni became prime minister, she led the Qing dynasty to the fork in history. With the support of Su Qingni, the technology tree was lit up, and the technology level of the Qing dynasty was ahead of Europe after the Industrial Revolution. Then, under the premise of the country's great strides forward, Su Qingni fully supported the sea merchants to go overseas, and finally opened the age of exploration, developed the American continent and the Australian continent, and occupied these two continents before European countries. Su Qingni didn't stay in this world for long. After serving as prime minister for 2 terms, Su Qingni saw that the Qing dynasty would not be restored by the imperial power, so she chose to leave this world. Before leaving this world, she solved the efficacy of the medicine for the men of the Zinjiro family, allowing them to restore their healthy and energetic bodies. Yes, the reason why the men of the Zinjiro family became sick Zishi and Lindayu was all because of Su Qingni. The mantis stalks the cicada, and the oriole is behind. Knowing the plans of the second prince in Long Kato, how could Su Qingni not do something? Master Kang didn't know until his death that his most trusted junior minister was the mastermind behind the subversion of the Zinjiro family's control of the imperial power. After crossing again, before the memory of crossing, what came into view was a pair of very disgusting men and women hugging each other to perform a farewell scene before death. And around them were 2 men, also staring at the seriously injured woman held by the man with pain and affection. The woman was very beautiful. Even if she was dying, she was still so beautiful as a painting. Yi, don't be sad. I'm very happy to be able to save you. I love you very much, you are more important than my life. The woman chattered in the man's arms about how much she loved the man, and implicitly expressed that she exchanged her life for the man's life. This kind of chattering energy, is she really a dying person? Can a dying person still say so many words? Can he still speak without any entanglement? Su Qingni laughed. Even if she didn't accept the information of this world, Su Qingni felt that this woman was wrong. Sure enough, she heard a mechanical voice, ding. Dongfang Yi's favorability increased by 2, and the current favorability is 100%. The achievement of life and death is achieved. The host's mission to conquer Dongfang Yi has been completed perfectly. Do you want to leave this world? Then, she heard the woman's voice again. Oh, I really don't want to leave. Dongfang Yi, Niangniang Yu and Zeman Chen are all rare handsome guys, and I have to part with them. Who knows if the men to be conquered in the next world are as handsome as them. System, let's make a deal. Let me stay in this world for a while longer. At least let me get all 3 of them and enjoy them before leaving. How about it? The mechanical voice of the system left no room for negotiation. Host, do you want to leave this world immediately? The woman wanted to negotiate with the system. System, can't you stay for a while longer? System, countdown for the host to leave the current world. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. The woman sighed. Oh, goodbye, dear handsome guys. You must remember me. Don't forget me for the rest of your life. Hearing the woman say this, Su Qingni felt a wave of nausea and anger, which came from the original owner's emotions. Su Qingni raised a hand to press her chest, and smiled maliciously at the woman. It seemed that the original owner didn't like this woman very much. Coincidentally, She didn't like the kind of strategists who used the strategist system to wantonly play with other people's feelings, and when others gave their true feelings, they would abandon them and leave. Su Qingni had read a lot of strategist novels, and she didn't hate all of them. At least those novels in which the strategists exchanged true feelings for true feelings, and would accompany the strategists or leave backups to accompany the strategists after getting the true feelings of others. Su Qingni didn't hate them. At least these strategists were responsible and would not wantonly play with other people's feelings. What she hated most was the kind of strategists who used various means to strategize people, and then patted their butts and left. Those strategists who were strategists lost their lovers and lived in pain from then on, and she also hated the strategists in these strategists. Unexpectedly, she would meet such a strategist who traveled through time with a system. Haha, is this luck? In this case, how can I deserve such good luck if I don't take action? Su Qingni stretched out a hand. 2, 1, get out. The woman showed a sad smile and said to the 3 men around her, "Don't forget me." Then she closed her beautiful eyes. The 3 men thought the woman was dead, and all of them collapsed and shed tears, shouting the woman's name. The woman thought she would return to her virtual space in the next moment, but why did her body hurt so much? There were also men crying and shouting around her. Did she fail to get out? Is there a bug in the system? System. The woman called the system anxiously in her heart. "You bastard, come out quickly, take me away quickly. Also, why did you cancel the function of shielding physical pain, making me so painful? You bastard, come out quickly, I can't stand the pain." But no matter how frantically the woman called the system did not give a response. The woman couldn't stand the pain. Since she became a strategist and had the assistance of the system, she had never felt this kind of pain that made her collapse. The woman's ability to bear pain had long been lost because she relied too much on the function of the system. At this moment, she could no longer bear the pain and fainted from the pain. At this time, the ambulance also arrived. Seeing the painful expressions of the 3 men, the paramedics thought they were too late and the people had died without help. Then, the sharp-eyed nurse saw the heaving chest of the woman in the man's arms. Chapter 477 System Operation 2. This person is still alive. The young nurse shouted. Because of the young nurse's words, everyone realized that the heroine of the incident was not dead, but had fainted. The paramedics rushed forward to rescue the woman and put her into the ambulance. Duang Fangyi, holding the woman in his arms, followed the woman into the ambulance and accompanied the woman to the hospital. The other 2 handsome guys also wanted to get on the ambulance, but they were not qualified, and the space in the back of the ambulance was not large, so they could not get in, so the 2 were left behind. Originally, they wanted to drive their own car to the hospital, but when they turned around, they saw Su Qingni standing in the crowd. One of these handsome guys had a very close relationship with the original body that Su Qingni possessed. Even though the original body was modified when it mixed into the banquet hall, the handsome guy who had known her for nearly 20 years still recognized her at a glance. "Niangniang Su!" The handsome guy shouted angrily, "It's you, you must have killed Chai Bi. Where are the police? Hurry up and arrest her, she is the murderer." The police uncles came with the ambulance and were collecting clues at the scene. When they heard the handsome guy's cry, they immediately stepped forward and detained Su Qingni as the first suspect. "Miss Niangniang, please come back to the police station with us for investigation." The attitude of the police uncles was still very good, unlike the 2 handsome guys, who looked at Su Qingni as if they saw the murderer of their father. I don't know what their parents think when they see their expressions. Su Qingni doesn't care about what they think. Although one of the couple is the parents of the original body, even the original body is disappointed with her biological parents. Su Qingni will not care about the parents who favor boys over girls and drive the original body out of the house. "Okay," Su Qingni said calmly, "I believe the police comrades can find out the truth, find out the real person behind the scenes, and clear my name." Su Qingni had a good attitude, so the police naturally had a good attitude towards her. One of the policewomen took Su Qingni out of the banquet hall and got into the police car. Su Qingni leaned against the chair, closed her eyes, and began to receive the memories of her original body and the information of this world. In her hand, she held a silver white metal ball, but it was the size of a grain of rice, and no one except her could see it. The original body was called Niangniang Su, the eldest daughter of the Niangniang family. She was carefully educated since childhood and was a famous lady in the upper class. She was also the fiancée of Dong Fangyi who left with the ambulance. Dong Fangyi was originally satisfied with her fiancé. If there were no accidents, the two would get married when they grew up, and their marriage would be smooth and stable for the rest of their lives. Unfortunately, an accident happened in this world. It was the raider who came to this world with the system. Most readers know what the raider and the raider system are, so there is no need to elaborate here. It is said that the target of this Lu Chabi's strategy is Dong Fangyi, and Niangniang Su, the fiancé, has become an obstacle for Lu Chabi to complete the task and must be eliminated. With the means provided by the system, it is not too easy for Lu Chabi to frame Niangniang Su. Niangniang Su's reputation has been ruined by Lu Chabi again and again. If Niangniang Su had reliable relatives who loved her, Niangniang Su's situation would be better. Unfortunately, she has a brother who is more beautiful than his sister and was captured by Lu Chabi, and a pair of parents who favor boys over girls. After being framed by Lu Chabi again, one of Lu Chabi's admirers, Niangniang Yu, Lu Chabi is quite fickle. As long as he's a handsome guy, she doesn't want to let him go. Dong Fangyi is her main target, and Niangniang Yu and Zeman Chen, two handsome guys whose appearance and family background are comparable to Dong Fangyi, are also regarded as her possessions by Lu Chabi. In the gap of attacking Dong Fangyi, she flirts with Niangniang Yu and Zeman Chen in various ways, and attacks the two as entertainment, in the name of Niangniang Su ruining the reputation of the Niangniang family. She does not recognize Niangniang Su as her sister and asks Niangniang's parents to drive Niangniang Su out of the Niangniang family. Niangniang's parents value sons over daughters, and they listen to their son very much. With the pressure from the Dongfang family and the Zeman family, Niangniang's parents did not hesitate to drive Niangniang Su out of the house. Niangniang Su was hit hard and could not accept that her parents and brother treated her like this. She hated Lu Chabi deeply, and it was Lu Chabi who caused her to fall into such a situation. Therefore, Niangniang Su wanted to take revenge on Lu Chabi. The reason why she appeared at the banquet held by the Dongfang family this time was to find an opportunity to take revenge on Lu Chabi. Unfortunately, Niangniang Su had no system and no plugin, and did not know that her whereabouts had long been discovered by Lu Chabi and used by Lu Chabi. Lu Chabi is a strategist, and to complete the system task, she must get 10% of the favorability of the strategist. Although Dong Fangyi has fallen deeply in love with Lu Chabi, his favorability has always remained at 98%. No matter what Lu Chabi does, the last 2 points of favorability cannot be improved. In order to get the last 2 points, Lu Chabi adopted the strategist she often used. When danger occurs, she uses her own life to save the strategist, exchanging her life for life, so that the strategist is deeply moved, gets the last point of favorability, and will be devoted to her from then on and can never forget her. Lu Chabi has used this method many times, and it succeeded every time. Lu Chabi is very confident in this method. However, this method requires a scapegoat who creates danger. After knowing that Niangniang Su was going to pretend to be a waiter to sneak into the banquet, Lu Chabi chose Niangniang Su to be the scapegoat. Lu Chabi's plan was quite simple, which was to create an accident at her and Dong Fangyi's engagement party. Lu Chabi alertly discovered that danger was coming, and protected Dong Fangyi with her body. Dong Fangyi was unharmed, but Lu Chabi was seriously injured. When the police investigate, they will find out from the clues that the accident was not an accident, but someone designed it, and Niangniang Su was the murderer, as evidenced by the video. As for the video, of course it was a fake video made by the system. But with the technology of this world, it would not be discovered that the video was fake. At that time, Niangniang Su would be locked up for murder, and her life would be over. This plan is nothing but vicious. Su Qingni opened her eyes and sneered. She raised her right hand, looked at the system pinched by her fingers, chuckled, and squeezed it hard, and the system was crushed by her. However, all the functions of the system have been analyzed by Su Qingni. Although she cannot use her original ability to prevent the world from collapsing, the ability of the simulated system can be used in this world. Who said that this world is the world of the system text? As Su Qingni's mind moved, the heroine in the video that Lu Chabi prepared to frame Niangniang Su changed and became Niangniang Su herself. Not only that, Su Qingni also used the system function to make a video of what Lu Chabi did to frame Niangniang Su before, waiting for the opportunity to release them all. Chapter 478 System Operation 3. The police officers' actions were very powerful. Soon, they found the video. Seeing that the person who placed the bomb in the video was the injured person, the police officers did not believe it at first. How could Lu Chabi place a bomb at her engagement party? She would not seek death herself, would she? But all the clues point to Lu Chabi as the person behind the scenes, and the video has been verified by experts and is not fake. So the question is, what is Lu Chabi's motive? Doesn't she want to get engaged to Dongfang Yi? Impossible, right? She, a Cinderella, can marry the eldest son of the Dongfang family and become a rich lady in the upper class. How can she be unhappy and unwilling? Don't you think the power of the bomb is a little small? The little policewoman who took Su Qingni to the police car raised her doubts. The power of the bomb can only cause minor injuries to people, not enough to kill people. The police comrades have received the injured person's injury report from the doctor who treated Lu Chabi. From the report, it can be seen that the injured person was only stabbed in the back, and there was nothing wrong with other places. If they had not confirmed that there were traces of bombs in the cake, the police comrades would not believe that Lu Chabi was injured by the bomb. It is indeed too weak. Another policeman nodded in agreement. Only one person was injured, and the others standing near the cake were not injured. Not only was the power small, but it was also a directional explosion. Xiao Zhang, tell me what you think. The old policeman said to the young policewoman. The policewoman said, I suspect this is a self-torture trick. A self-torture trick? Yes. This is the self-torture trick directed and performed by Lu Chabi. Before we went to the scene, Lu Chabi was held in Dongfang Yi's arms and said a lot of love words. Dongfang Yi was moved by her words and actions. The policewoman said, Lu Chabi is just the daughter of an ordinary family, but she was able to defeat Dongfang Yi's ex-fiancé who came from a noble family and succeed in getting promoted. If she didn't have any tricks, how could she have achieved it? I don't believe Lu Chabi is a simple and innocent white lotus. I think we should investigate more about what Lu Chabi did before this. I think we may have a big discovery. After hearing the words of the policewoman through the system function, Su Qingni gave the policewoman a thumbs up and released a video of Lu Chabi framing Niangniang Su. Lu Chabi framed Niangniang Su using system means, and there is no video, but Su Qingni can fake it. These videos were placed in Lu Chabi's computer by Su Qingni. When the police went to the Lu family to search for clues, they found the videos in the computer. Therefore, it was confirmed that Lu Chabi directed and acted out a self-torture plan in order to win Dongfang Yi's heart. The police told this conclusion to the people of the Dongfang family. Dongfang Yi, Niangniang Yu and Ziman Chen did not believe this conclusion. How could the beautiful and kind Lu Chabi do such a thing? These were all done by Niangniang Su. Niangniang Su was the murderer. The police should arrest Niangniang Su and put him in prison for the rest of his life. The police uncles were all sighing in their hearts. What heirs of the big family, they are all fools who value beauty over sisters' friends. They were deceived by vicious women and hurt the truly innocent little girls. The police uncles did not say much to these fools, but directly released the videos and evidence for them to see for themselves. After watching the video, Dongfang Yi, Niangniang Yu and Ziman Chen all looked incredulous. If the person in the video was not very clear, they would have thought that it was someone else pretending to be Lu Chabi. How could such a kind and beautiful woman in their minds do such vicious things? The faces of the other people in the three families were all black after watching it, especially the people in the Dongfang family. Dongfang's parents were not willing to accept a commoner woman as their son's wife, but they were not as stubborn as their son, and Niangniang Su's reputation was ruined, so they reluctantly agreed to their son's relationship with a commoner woman. What was the result? Dongfang's parents quickly asked the police uncles not to circulate these videos. They could imagine how the Dongfang family would be ridiculed by other people in the upper class after the video was circulated. Well, not only the Dongfang family, but also the Niangniang family and the Zeman family would be ridiculed by everyone because of the way their heirs looked at women, laughing at them for being blind, giving up the real pearls, and choosing vicious and scorpion women. The police uncles naturally refused. These were all evidence of Lu Chabi's crimes. Some of them should be made public, and of course, they would not make them public if they could not make them public. People from the three families. They could already hear the laughter from other people in the upper class. The parents of the three families all looked at their sons with some resentment. It was them who made the family a joke. Three people were played around by a commoner woman at the same time. It was so stupid. Is this still the heir they are proud of? He must be retrained. The three handsome guys didn't know what kind of miserable life they would face next. The three handsome guys who couldn't accept the fact it all ran out of the door together. They were going to the hospital to ask Lu Chabi in person and ask her if she was wronged. However, when they saw Lu Chabi, some of them couldn't accept it. Is the woman lying on the bed really Lu Chabi? Is she the goddess in their minds? Could she have been swapped? Why can't they feel pity even though it is the same face? Lu Chabi's facial features are still the same. Why do they look a lot uglier, not as delicate and pleasing as before? And how come Lu Chabi's elegant and innocent temperament is gone? Where does this mercenary and rustic temperament come from? She looked like the auntie selling vegetables in the vegetable market. The three handsome guys couldn't accept the changed appearance of the original goddess, and ran away quickly. Lu Chabi stretched out her Erkung hand to the three handsome guys, but unfortunately she couldn't catch any of them. The handsome guys avoided her now. Lu Chabi covered her face with her hands and cried. How could she not be ugly? She felt ugly. It's just that the system disappeared, and the various beautification effects awarded to her by the system also disappeared. She restored the original appearance of this body, and she couldn't accept it. She kept calling the system, hoping that the system would come back quickly to help her change back to her previous appearance. But the system disappeared. Did the system abandon her and leave this world? How could this be? Why abandon her? Isn't she the host chosen by the system? Aren't they good partners? A good partner who has traveled through many worlds together, a partner who has gained a lot of benefits from the conquered. How could the system abandon her? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479 System Operation 4. Without the system? Would she have to stay in this world for the rest of her life, die in this world, no longer have the ability to travel through time, no longer have a long life? No, she couldn't accept it. System, come back soon. Unfortunately, the system didn't respond at all. Lu Chabi collapsed. Although she had traveled through many worlds and completed many strategy tasks, Lu Chabi relied on the plugins given by the system. She had no strength and psychological endurance. In addition to becoming more and more arrogant, she had no psychological growth. Now that she had no one to rely on and no plugins given by the system, Lu Chabi naturally collapsed psychologically. In the end, Lu Chabi was not sent to prison, but to a mental hospital. She was crazy, shouting all day that she was a fast traveler, a chosen one, and a high and mighty existence. All handsome guys had to crawl at her feet for her to visit. Because of Lu Chabi, the three families of Dongfang Zeman and Niangniang really became a joke in the upper class. But the laughter was only temporary. After all, Dongfang Yi and the other two were still young, and being deceived by women was not a big problem. They have the support of their families and a bright future. The damage caused to them by Lu Chabi's incident is not serious. Time can erase all the damage. More than 10 years later, when the three people get married and have their own children, how can they remember Lu Chabi? Of course, the three people can quickly forget Lu Chabi. In addition to the three families making them go back to school, it is also because the means that Lu Chabi used the system to do to them have failed, and their brains have returned to normal. Dongfang Yi and Niangniang Yu, whose brains have returned to normal, feel sorry for Niangniang Su, especially Niangniang Su. He thinks that he is stupid to drive his biological sister out of the house for a woman. Even if you don't like this sister anymore, you can't drive her out of the house. Staying at home can also be used as a waste, and marrying with some families that are not as good as the Niangniang family, which will bring benefits to the family. Well, of course, after knowing that Niangniang Su was wronged, her reputation in the upper class has also been restored, and Niangniang Su's marriage market will not decline. It depends on the situation. The Dongfang family intends to continue the engagement between Niangniang Su and Dongfang Yi. Niangniang Yu, who was clear-headed and a little apologetic to Niangniang Su, asked his parents to take Niangniang Su back to the Niangniang family. Niangniang's parents naturally agreed, because Niangniang Su is now of great value. However, they had a good idea, but Su Qingni slapped them in the face. Su Qingni knew with her toes why the Niangniang family took her back? To become Dongfang Yi's wife? Haha, let alone her, even if Niangniang Su herself was still alive, she would not renew the engagement with Dongfang Yi. Although Niangniang Su did like Dongfang Yi before, Dongfang Yi had hurt Niangniang Su many times for that woman Lu Chabi, and the girl had given up on him a long time ago, and even had some hatred for him. How could she be willing to marry Dongfang Yi? As for returning to the Niangniang family, when the girl left this world, she only wanted to find Lu Chabi to ask why Lu Chabi framed her and wanted to clear her grievances. She didn't have much intention of returning to the Niangniang family. The little girl didn't have deep feelings for her brother, who treated her sister as an enemy because of her beauty, and her parents, who easily abandoned her because of their preference for boys over girls. She had long been disappointed with this so-called parental and sibling affection. Respecting the little girl's intentions and her own feelings, Su Qingni decisively refused to return to the Niangniang family. When Niangniang's parents threatened Su Qingni with a tough attitude that if she didn't go to the Niangniang family, she would never get a penny or a connection from the Niangniang family in the future, Su Qingni sneered. When you drove Miss Niangniang out of the house, did you give her money? Did you give her connections? Su Qingni asked this question with great disdain. Niangniang's parents turned red and white when they were asked, and left in a huff. Su Qingni didn't know if they would come to find her again, but they should, right? After all, it was heard that the Dongfang family and the Niangniang family were discussing marriage again. In order to avoid being disturbed and calculated by them again, Su Qingni packed up her gifts and left the city where the three families were. Su Qingni used sophisticated hacking techniques to create a new identity for herself and changed her name back to Su Qingni. Now you need to use your ID card to go out, take a car or take a plane. Su Qingni used her new ID card to buy tickets. Afterwards, the Niangniang family hired a private detective to find Su Qingni's whereabouts. Because Su Qingni changed her identity, the private detective could not find her whereabouts. The Niangniang family could not find Su Qingni, so they could only terminate the marriage with the Dongfang family in disappointment. In the end, Dongfang Yi married the daughter of the Zeman family. Su Qingni never treats herself badly, and she will use the most comfortable way to travel. She bought a first-class ticket, entered the plane through the VIP channel, and sat in her seat. Not long after, a group of people walked into the first-class cabin. These people should be together. 6 women surrounded a young man. The man talked and laughed with the women, and the relationship was very close. It seemed that he and these 6 women were in a relationship. 1 man and 6 women. Is this a stud RNP? Su Qingni's eyes stayed on the man for 2 seconds, then she looked away. She closed her eyes and pretended to take a rest. The man and his women originally thought that they were the only ones in the first-class cabin, and they could do whatever they wanted in the first-class cabin, treating it as their territory. However, they found out that there was one more person in the first-class cabin after they got on the plane, and the women were a little unhappy. Su Qingni listened attentively to 2 of the women asking the man to give Su Qingni more money and kick her out of the first-class cabin. The man's eyes swept over Su Qingni's beautiful young face, and he smiled and said that they were destined to travel together, so they should not chase Su Qingni away. The 6 women snorted coldly at the same time when they heard this, and one of them said in a delicate voice, "Zinggai, you are not interested in the girl, and want to find another sister for us, right?" How could that be? I have you all, that's enough. The man was busy comforting the 6 women, saying all kinds of sweet words without spending any money, which made the 6 women very happy and laughed. Su Qingni felt sick after hearing this. It seemed that the man named Zinggai really had feelings for her. She originally wanted to let this man go. But if the man really came to her to seduce her and wanted to add another person to his harem, she would take back the cheat that belonged to that man. Without the powerful cheat, would those women still be willing to stay by the side of the man? The plane took off, and after the flight attendants took turns to serve the passengers, they all returned to the lounge. Some people took the time to rest, while others chatted and gossiped about some special passengers on the plane. Chapter 480 System Operation 5. The rest cabin for flight attendants was above the first-class cabin. With Su Qingni's sharp 5 senses, she could hear all the conversations of the flight attendants. From the conversation of the flight attendants, Su Qingni knew the identity of the man, Ruan Zinggai. The richest man in City A, he was born in a grassroots family, had a legendary experience, and was very versatile. However, in just 5 years, he went from being a poor boy who was abandoned by his first love girlfriend who despised the poor and loved the rich to billionaire. The 6 women were all Ruan Zinggai's lovers. Not to mention that they all had extraordinary backgrounds, but they all had their own characteristics. Either they were from wealthy families, or they had outstanding abilities and were Ruan Zinggai's best helpers, or they were big stars. Anyway, they were all amazing. It is said that Ruanzingai is very charming. In addition to these 6 women, there are many more women who admire Ruanzingai. It's just that the comprehensive level of those women is not as good as these 6 women, so these 6 women became Ruanzingai's fixed lovers, and many women, Ruanzingai only had a love affair with her, and then was thrown behind his mind, becoming a member of Ruanzingai's hunting list. Su Qingni sneered. Ruanzingai regarded her as a member of his hunting list, right? Haha, why is this Ruanzingai's legend so much like the early urban stallion novels? In particular, this one really has a system as a plugin. By the way, how many systems are there in this world? She just tore a system apart, and now another one appeared in front of her. Will she encounter more systems in the future? Su Qingni got up and went to the bathroom. When she came back, she found that the person on her side had changed. One of Ruanzingai's lovers was replaced by Ruanzingai himself. Looking at Ruanzingai's eyes full of interest in her, Su Qingni's mouth curled up, her right hand moved slightly, and a golden rice-sized thing appeared between her index finger and thumb. When Ruanzingai saw the little beauty coming back, he was just about to show his charm to her and hook her up to have a spring breeze that could only be enjoyed during the trip. Suddenly, his body stiffened, as if he felt something had left him. What was it? The first thing Ruanzingai thought of was his own golden finger system. System. Ruanzingai called the system in his mind. Unlike before, the system did not respond to Ruanzingai's call immediately. Ruanzingai's face suddenly turned pale. The system had left him. No. What would he do if the system left? He encountered something and met other people who were looking for trouble. Where could he find a plug-in to help him deal with those people and slap him in the face? System, come back soon, I can't bear it without you. Ruanzingai was no longer in the mood to hook up with a little beauty, and he kept calling the system in his heart. Unfortunately, the system never responded to Ruanzingai. Without the flies buzzing around him, Su Qingni enjoyed a quiet journey. After arriving at the destination, she got off the plane directly, and didn't care how Ruanzingai's lovers comforted Ruanzingai with questions. Su Qingni had rented a hotel-style apartment in the destination city through the internet, and she could move in with her bag. Su Qingni took a shower, washed off the dust, and lay down on the bed to have a good sleep. She had just crossed over when she encountered Lu Chabi framing the original owner. She tore up the system by hand, went to the police station, exposed what Lu Chabi did, left the city where the original body grew up to avoid the calculations of the Niangniang family, met Ruanzingai on the road, and tore up another system by hand. These things happened one after another, leaving her no time to rest. At this time, she finally settled down, and naturally had to have a good rest. At least, she had to take good care of the original owner's body by sleeping. After being driven out of the Niangniang family, this child didn't eat well and sleep well, and his body was ruined a lot. The people of the Niangniang family were really cruel. When they drove the original owner out of the Niangniang family, not only did they not give the original owner a house to stay in, but they also stopped the original owner's bank account. The original owner still sold all her jewelry to get some cash to use. The little girl was sad that her family was too cold to her, so she had no mood to eat. Moreover, the little girl was worried that she would spend all her money too lavishly and have no future life, so she was very frugal. If she didn't want to eat, she wouldn't buy food or eat on time, which ruined her stomach and caused stomach problems. Although Su Qingni was in her sleep, her body was running the health-preserving exercises to nourish her body and stomach. After waking up, Su Qingni felt that her stomach was much better, and now she had a good appetite. With her mobile phone and wallet, Su Qingni went out to find food. This city is a developed coastal city, and there are many outsiders who come to this city to work and live, so there are many restaurants with different flavors. Su Qingni chose a Cantonese restaurant, went in and ordered 2 signature dishes, and had a good meal. After dinner, Su Qingni walked around the city to get to know the city. The original owner was only 18 years old and was still a student, but Su Qingni didn't want to go to school anymore. For her, a diploma is not too important. With the knowledge she has, she can be a professor at a university. Without having to choose a school, Su Qingni's focus was on choosing a house to live in. Although a hotel-style apartment is convenient for short-term living, you still have to have your own house. The privacy of a hotel-style apartment is always inferior to your own house. Su Qingni visited several newly developed communities through online introductions, and finally chose a community, selected a 2-bedroom, one living room house, and paid a deposit, mainly because she had no money, so she could only pay the deposit first, and then pay the full amount for the house after she made money. The original owner, Niangniang Su, did not make much money from selling jewelry, and now she has almost spent it. After leaving the community, Su Qingni went to the largest electronic appliance mall in the city, bought a latest computer, and returned to the apartment. Turning on the computer, Su Qingni immediately started working to make money. The old way, first made a software and sent the information to several reliable software companies in China. While waiting for these companies to respond, Su Qingni climbed the wall to visit some secret websites abroad, took on a few hacker tasks, and completed them easily. In one night, she earned back the money for buying the house, and even earned the money for decoration. The next day, Su Qingni went to the sales office to pay off the full amount of the house, got the key to the house, and contacted the decoration company under the introduction of the sales lady. After communicating with the designer of the decoration company, she confirmed the decoration of the house. After parting with the designer, Su Qingni went to the new house again. The house is quite nice, square, without too much waste, with a total area of 80 square meters. The 2 bedrooms and the living room can get sunlight and the light is very good. Chapter 481 System Operation VI. The house is located on the 9th floor, not too high or too low, and the floor number is quite auspicious. Although the house price is a bit high, Su Qingni feels that it is all worth it. After walking out of the room with satisfaction, Su Qingni locked the door. The door of the neighbor's house was opened, and a young woman wearing sunglasses walked out. Su Qingni glanced at the woman, and she looked familiar, but she should not know her. She did not say hello to the woman, locked the door and left. The young woman was a little stunned. Someone did not recognize her face to face. Is it because she is not famous enough that her neighbor did not recognize her? Should I consider the proposal of my agent to act in a TV series if I am good at singing? The woman thought about her work, took another elevator downstairs, and got into a nanny car downstairs. Brother Liu, didn't you say that a crew wanted me to act in a TV series? I thought about it and decided to accept it. The woman said. He didn't know that Su Qingni's unfamiliarity with her changed her mind and allowed her career to develop, so that she met another carrier with a system plug-in earlier. Su Qingni returned to the apartment and spent most of her time there. In addition to making money, she searched for clues about the extremely yin place on the internet. After a period of time, she found 3 suspected extremely yin places, but whether they were there or not, she still needed to go and see them in person. While surfing the internet that day, Su Qingni saw Hot Search. The name on it looked familiar. Oh, isn't this the stallion man who wanted to hook up with her but was deprived of the system by her? Su Qingni opened the Hot Search to see the content. It turned out that the stallion man and his big star lover, wife were divorced. The two had a big fight when they broke up and even went to court. Haha, it's really fun to hear. I wonder if the other 5 women broke up with the stallion man? Su Qingni entered Ruan Xingai's name and checked Ruan Xingai's news. As Su Qingni expected, Ruan Xingai's 6 lovers broke up with him. Without the system plugin, Ruan Xingai no longer had the Jiaxu halo, and those women naturally woke up. Which woman nowadays would serve a man with other women like the women in ancient times? How can you allow your man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines? How can the 6 lovers bear to be one of the many women of a man without the aura of Jiaxu affecting their IQ? You know, each of them can be described as a proud daughter of heaven, but they are so humble and wronged by a man? Every woman was nauseous and thought that she must have been stupid before. So, most of them kicked Ruan Xingai at the first time. The angry rich daughters and strong women also used their families and companies to suppress Ruan Xingai's company. Ruan Xingai's company can be big only because of the support of the system. Without the system, Ruan Xingai's company will collapse. Fortunately, Ruan Xingai still has a lot of private property. Even if the company collapses, those houses and money are enough for Ruan Xingai to live a rich life. It's a pity that among his 6 lovers, there is one who values money more, and is willing to be a mistress for money. This person is the big star. After she woke up, she did not break up with Ruan Xingai at the first time, and secretly laughed at others for kicking Ruan Xingai. In this way, Ruan Xingai only had her as a woman. The big star happily comforted Ruan Xingai gently and stayed by his side when other women kicked him out. Ruan Xingai was moved by the big star and married her. The big star became Ruan Xingai's wife and shared Ruan Xingai's company and property. However, before she could be happy for too long, Ruan Xingai's company went bankrupt. Ruan Xingai's money shrank significantly, and he went from being the richest man in the city to an ordinary rich man with only a little wealth. How could the big star bear it? She married Ruan Xingai for his money. Now that Ruan Xingai has no money, how can she be with Ruan Xingai? It would be better to kick Ruan Xingai out early and find a rich sponsor again. So the big star wanted to divorce Ruan Xingai. How could Ruan Xingai be willing to divorce? Now that he only had the big star as a woman, how could he let her leave? What's more, the big star had more assets under his name than him, and the big star could make money by filming. Without the system, Ruan Xingai became a useless person. He knew himself very well and simply stopped doing other jobs. He just wanted to be a gigolo supported by his wife. But how could the big star allow himself to not be able to exploit Ruan Xingai but be exploited by him? So, the two of them started to quarrel. The big star insisted on divorce, but Ruan Xingai was unwilling to divorce, and the two finally went to court. The court ruled that the two divorced, and the premarital property of the two belonged to each other, and no one could get the property of the other. Su Qingni was very happy to see it. This was really a good show. It's a pity that the two divorced successfully. Just because they were a pair of scumbags and bitches, they should not divorce, and should be together forever. Su Qingni followed Ruan Xingai's divorce incident until it ended. Several months have passed, and the new house has been renovated. Su Qingni bought furniture, returned the apartment, and moved into the new house. Su Qingni still had only a small suitcase and came to the new house. It didn't look like moving, but like returning from an outing, just like her neighbor. The neighbor's suitcase was 3 times bigger than Su Qingni's, and it looked like she had just returned from another place. Su Qingni nodded to the new neighbor, and also nodded to the assistant or nanny who was helping her with her luggage, and was about to open the door and go in. Her new neighbor called Su Qingni. "Hey, let me ask you, do you know who I am?" Of course Su Qingni knew who she was. Although she only thought that the neighbor looked familiar when she first met her and didn't recognize who the neighbor was, Su Qingni has been surfing the internet frequently these days and has seen a lot of news about this neighbor, so she naturally knows who she is. Huo Man, a famous little singer. She has a good voice and good singing skills, so the songs she sings are all good to listen to, and the audience buys them, so Huo Man is quite popular. Oh, she also starred in a TV series recently. Although she is not the protagonist, the role is quite likable, which makes her popularity rise a lot. "You are Huo Man," Su Qingni said. "I've heard the songs you sing, they are good, very nice. The role of the rich girl you played is also very likable." Huo Man was happy. "You finally recognize who I am." It seems that my decision to act in TV dramas was very correct." Huo Man waved to Su Qingni with satisfaction, and went into her home happily. Chapter 482 System Operation 7. Su Qingni was a little confused. What was Huo Man doing? What did her acting in a TV series have to do with her? Shaking her head, Su Qingni pushed the door and entered her new home. The new home was decorated very warmly, but the refrigerator was empty. After Su Qingni put the gifts in the suitcase in the closet, she took her wallet and went out to the supermarket to buy vegetables and daily necessities. There was a large supermarket near the community, which was only a few steps away. Su Qingni went on a shopping spree and returned home with large and small bags. Just as she was using the key to open the door of the neighbor's house opened and Huo Man walked out. "You are finally back," Huo Man said. Su Qingni asked in confusion, "You're looking for me?" "Yes." Huo Man nodded. "I brought back some souvenirs from abroad and wanted to give them to you, my neighbor, but my assistant knocked on your door for a long time just now and no one answered. So you went out to buy something?" Su Qingni replied, "I just moved in today and there's nothing at home, so I have to buy something." "You just moved in today? I thought you moved in a long time ago." Huo Man said as she went into her room, took out a packaged box and handed it to Su Qingni. "Here, a gift, congratulations on your new home." "Thank you." Su Qingni put down the shopping bag and took the gift box. Huo Man looked at the large and small bags at Su Qingni's feet and said in amazement, "You are so strong that you bought so many things and carried them all back by yourself. If it were me, I couldn't even carry a third of them." Su Qingni smiled. She had practiced the health-preserving exercises for several months, and her strength had increased a lot. Carrying these things was a piece of cake. Su Qingni tucked the gift box under her armpit and reached out to pick up the shopping bag. Seeing her like this, Huo Manman hurriedly said, "Let me help you." Then she took 2 shopping bags from Su Qingni's hand. "Thank you." Su Qingni smiled and thanked. She had a good impression of her new neighbor. This girl was not as high-handed as a big star, and she would help her neighbors. She was quite nice. Most of the things Su Qingni bought were food ingredients, which were very rich. Today was the day to move to her new house. Although she was alone, Su Qingni still wanted to celebrate it. In fact, she was greedy and wanted to make a rich meal to reward herself. "Wow, you actually bought lobsters. And hairy crabs!" Huo Manman exclaimed. The 2 bags she was carrying were filled with seafood. "So much? Are you going to treat me?" "No, I'll eat it all by myself." Su Qingni replied. "You alone?" Huo Manman glanced at Su Qingni's stomach and doubted whether her stomach could hold it. Crabs will go bad if they are left for too long. Su Qingni looked at Huo Manman swallowing her saliva and couldn't help laughing. Could this girl be a foodie? Yes, it is true. If you can't finish them in one meal, the crab meat and shrimp meat will go bad. Su Qingni smiled and said to Huo Manman, "I bought these to celebrate my new house, but I don't have many friends, and it's really boring to eat alone. Do you want to come to my house for dinner and celebrate my new house with me?" "Okay." Huo Manman immediately agreed happily after hearing this, and was very straightforward. Su Qingni was amused and had a better impression of Huo Manman. "Your agent must be very hard-working, right?" "How do you know?" Su Qingni chuckled. "Girl, you have been in the entertainment industry for so long and you haven't grown up much, but you know that your agent protects you very well, so your agent himself must be very hard-working. Friendship is so simple." Huo Manman stood at the kitchen door and chatted with Su Qingni, talking about her experience in the entertainment industry. Su Qingni listened while cooking, occasionally answering Huo Manman a sentence or two, and the atmosphere was very harmonious. Su Qingni's movements were very fast. In less than an hour, 6 dishes were ready: baked lobster, steamed crab, braised lion's head, cumin sparrows, white-cut chicken, and stir-fried broccoli. The plates were placed on the table. Huo Manman looked at these delicacies and almost drooled. "I haven't had such a rich meal for a long time." Huo Manman was moved to tears. "Today I will eat as much as I want. At most, I will exercise for an extra hour after eating to burn calories." Su Qingni smiled at Huo Manman's reaction. Many stars will suppress their appetite for the sake of their figure. The girl in front of her reacted differently from other stars. Now, she admired and sympathized with Huo Manman's agent even more. This agent protected Huo Manman so well. However, this kind of protection has its pros and cons. If the agent's means cannot protect Huo Manman, given this girl's personality, I'm afraid she will fall very hard. After a rich lunch, Huo Manman regarded Su Qingni as her best friend and told her everything. Su Qingni learned more about Huo Manman's agent. Huo Manman's agent Feng Tuangliu is 8 years older than Huo Manman and is a very successful top agent. Feng Tuangliu has been able to reach this point today thanks to his own efforts. Feng Tuangliu was born in an ordinary family. Because his family was poor, he entered the entertainment industry after graduating from high school. However, he did not become a host at the beginning, but played a supporting role on the set. Feng Tuangliu is smooth and sociable, and he has accumulated a lot of connections during his time as a supporting actor. Although they are only grassroots connections, sometimes these grassroots connections are also very useful. Then Feng Tuangliu resolutely changed his career and became an assistant to a second-tier star. Then this star accumulated a lot of mid and high-level connections. After that, Feng Tuangliu became an agent. Huo Manman was not the first artist he brought. Feng Tuangliu brought 2 artists before Huo Manman, successfully brought them both to the ranks of first-class stars, and then broke up with the 2 peacefully. Huo Manman was personally selected by Feng Tuangliu from a contestant in a singing competition. At that time, Huo Manman was not particularly outstanding, and her singing skills were not good, so she did not make it to the end of the competition. Feng Tuangliu had a keen eye for talent, and he chose Huo Manman and took her to debut. As a result, Huo Manman has now become a famous singer, while the champion, runner-up and third-place winners in the singing competition have always been on the 18th line, and their achievements are far less than Huo Manman. From Huo Manman's words, Su Qingni heard that she trusted Feng Tuangliu very much, And Fang Tuangliu also took good care of Huo Man. It's just that Huo Man relies too much on Fang Tuangliu. If Fang Tuangliu suddenly proposed to break up with Huo Man like he did to his two previous artists, Huo Man would be at a loss. Without Fang Tuangliu, Huo Man has to face the twists and turns in the entertainment industry alone. How can she go on? Chapter 483 System Battle 8. Man, how good is your assistant? Su Qingni asked Huo Man. Xiao Zhang? Pretty good. Huo Man didn't know why Su Qingni asked about her assistant. Thinking about the advantages and disadvantages of her assistant, she told Su Qingni everything. From Huo Man's words, Su Qingni heard that Huo Man's assistant Xiao Zhang was a hard-working and honest child. He could do things, but he couldn't make connections. Su Qingni gave up the idea of letting Huo Man train an assistant. As for asking Huo Man to find a backup agent, Su Qingni didn't say it. With Huo Man's current trust in Fang Tuangliu, Su Qingni said this. Huo Man might think that Su Qingni was trying to sow discord and would break off the friendship with her. Forget it, it's better to talk about deep things. Huo Man and I just met today, so it's better not to say a lot of things. Maybe Fang Tuangliu will not terminate the cooperation relationship with Huo Man like he did with the previous two artists. Maybe I'm thinking too much? Su Qingni changed the subject and talked about other things with Huo Man. After finishing the meal, Huo Man went back to her home to rest and then exercise. Su Qingni cleaned up the kitchen, turned on the computer, and was about to go to the stock market for a look. Suddenly, she heard Huo Man's painful mumblings while exercising from the next room. She couldn't help but smile. Instead of opening the stock market operation software, she looked up Fang Tuangliu's information on the computer. Fang Tuangliu's information was similar to what Huo Man said. The difference was that although Fang Tuangliu broke up with the previous two artists peacefully, it was Fang Tuangliu who took the initiative to propose it. How to say it? Fang Tuangliu has always wanted to find a partner who can let him stand at the top of the entertainment industry and let him become a world-class agent. After the first two artists reached the first-class star level, Fang Tuangliu found that with their abilities, they could not become top stars and realize their dreams, so he broke up with them very simply. These two stars are not as simple as Huo Man, and they are not as dependent on Fang Tuangliu as Huo Man. Although they were caught off guard by Fang Tuangliu, they quickly found new agents. But now, they have not made any further progress, and have even regressed due to their age, retreating to the level of second-rate stars. Su Qingni discovered that Fang Tuangliu is now optimistic about a newcomer. Although Huo Man's potential has not been fully tapped, she has more room for growth because of starring in TV dramas. But Fang Tuangliu believes that the newcomer's qualifications are better than Huo Man's, and her room for growth is greater than Huo Man's. Now he is already in contact with a newcomer. In other words, soon Huo Man will be abandoned by Fang Tuangliu like her two predecessors. Poor kid, she doesn't know anything yet, and she still trusts Fang Tuangliu wholeheartedly. And the newcomer that Fang Tuangliu is optimistic about. Su Qingni twitched her lips. This newcomer only released a song, and the name of the song made Su Qingni particularly familiar, Golden Threaded Clothes. The lyrics are also very familiar. Spring comes and dreams disturb the tower and the small gathering recites today. Why not wear plain clothes in the green mountain valley? The moon is like a waist and the fingers dance. When drunk, they sing wildly and when awake, they laugh. Drink 3 or 2 cups of wine in the east fence. Why not be frivolous? Drink and ask you change if she is well. A song of Jinglu envy the world. However, the name of the composer is not a familiar name of Su Qingni, but the name of the newcomer. So, is this a newcomer who traveled through time? Or is she carrying a cultivation system of some entertainment industry? With a newcomer with a plug-in, it is no wonder that Fang Tuangliu would take a fancy to her, and abandoning Huo Man is just around the corner. Sighing, Su Qingni's fingers operated on the keyboard, and the information of various agents in the entertainment industry appeared in Su Qingni's computer. After all, she is her neighbor. Huo Man is a good person, so she will help her. When Huo Man is abandoned by Fang Tuangliu, she will find a reliable agent for her in time. Su Qingni stayed at home and didn't feel the passage of time very much. It was not until Huo Man came to knock on Su Qingni's door crying in the middle of the night that Su Qingni realized that 2 months had passed. Fang Tuangliu and the newcomer Zhang Shanshan had already fallen in love with each other. Today, Fang Tuangliu confronted Huo Man and very forcefully cancelled the cooperation relationship with Huo Man. Huo Manman never thought that Fang Tuangliu would abandon her. In fact, this girl still had feelings for Fang Tuangliu. Now she was abandoned. How could Huo Manman accept it? She cried and asked Fang Tuangliu not to leave her, but Fang Tuangliu was as hard as iron and was not moved at all. He abandoned Huo Manman and left resolutely. Huo Manman had no friends in the entertainment industry because of her straightforward personality. Her previous friends also became estranged because she had not contacted them for a long time after entering the entertainment industry. Now her only friend was Su Qingni, who she had just met but was very easy to talk to. Therefore, Huo Manman didn't care how immoral it was to disturb someone's sleep in the middle of the night, and knocked on Su Qingni's door. Su Qingni poured Huo Manman a glass of boiled water to replenish their water, sat opposite Huo Manman, and asked directly, "Did Fang Tuangliu break up with you?" "Well, he doesn't want me anymore." After saying that, Huo Manman looked up at Su Qingni in surprise. "How did you know that Brother Liu broke up with me?" "I guessed." Su Qingni said, "You should know who Fang Tuangliu is. He was able to abandon the two artists he had trained for many years, and now he abandons you. Isn't it normal?" "What's normal? I have much more skills and potential than those two people. I can definitely help Brother Liu realize his dream and become the top agent in the country," Huo Manman said unconvinced. Su Qingni, "But that newcomer named Zhan Shanshan can make your Brother Liu a world-class agent. Naturally, he will choose Zhan Shanshan and abandon you. You even know Zhan Shanshan." Huo Manman was even more surprised. Su Qingni said lightly, "I like to surf the internet. I have seen the relevant news about Zhan Shanshan, and I have also seen the photos of your Brother Liu in contact with her, so I judge that your Brother Liu has long been optimistic about Zhan Shanshan. Then why didn't you remind me earlier?" Huo Manman said with some complaints. Su Qingni stared at Huo Manman's eyes and asked in an icy voice, "If I reminded you early, would you believe it? Don't you think I am trying to sow discord between you and your Brother Liu?" Huo Manman wanted to deny it, but she opened her mouth but couldn't say the words of denial. She understood her own character. She had trusted Fang Tuangliu wholeheartedly before, and it was very likely that she really regarded Su Qingni's kindness as instigation. If she didn't believe in Su Qingni, she might even fall out with Su Qingni. What's so good about Zhan Shanshan? Isn't it just that she can write lyrics and compose music by herself? Her singing skills are not as good as mine. Why do you all think she is better than me? Chapter 484 System Operation IX. Why do you all think Zhan Shanshan is better than me? Huo Manman was very unconvinced, and she almost shouted. Because she has great potential. Su Qingni said lightly. Over the past few days, Su Qingni discovered that Zhan Shanshan not only traveled through time, but also brought a superstar training system. With the help of the system, Zhan Shanshan's future is naturally bright. Huo Manman is just an ordinary person. How can she compare with her? Isn't it just being able to write lyrics and compose music by myself? Huo Manman was still unconvinced. I can compose music too. What about lyrics? Huo Manman stopped talking. This girl graduated from a music college and studied composition, but in terms of lyrics, Huo Manman, who is not particularly good at literature, is the weakest point in this regard. Man, it's not easy to find a three-legged frog, but it's not hard to find a two-legged man. Fang Tuangliu doesn't have you in his heart, so don't think about him anymore. Su Qingni said, take back your feelings as soon as possible, it's good for you. Huo Manman cried again, how can you take back your feelings just by wanting to? Su Qingni suggested, then just focus on your work and use work to place your feelings. After a long time, your feelings for men will fade. Think about it later, it's just that little thing. Huo Manman seriously considered Su Qingni's suggestion. Although the girl is straightforward, she is not stupid. She knows that feelings can't be forced. If a man doesn't have you in his heart, it's a shame to cling to him. Huo Manman, but I don't have an agent now, who will help me get work? Su Qingni, you have been in the circle for so long, don't you have a good agent? Huo Manman, I had Brother Liu as my agent at that time, and I never thought about changing agents, so I didn't know which agents in the circle were good and which were not. Wait. I knew it would be like this. Su Qingni got up and went to her room to take out her laptop. She turned on the computer and operated it. A file package appeared on the screen. Su Qingni copied the file package to a USB flash drive and threw the USB flash drive to Huo Manman. What did you give me? Huo Manman asked stupidly while holding the USB flash drive. Su Qingni said, "It contains some information about more reliable agents. Take it back and pick one carefully." Huo Manman was very moved when she heard this. She thought that Su Qingni must have started to consider her and help her search for agent information after she found out that Feng Tuangliu had contacted Zhan Shanshan. She was really enthusiastic and really good to her. She had previously complained that Su Qingni did not remind her. She was really sorry for Su Qingni. Thinking of this, Huo Manman apologized to Su Qingni very sincerely. Su Qingni accepted Huo Manman's apology. After saying so much, Huo Manman's sadness had dissipated a lot, and she didn't want to cry anymore. Su Qingni drove her home. It was already 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, and she didn't go to bed and rest. This world is just the end of the lore world, and you can't cultivate immortals. The next day, Su Qingni still got up before 6 o'clock according to her usual wake-up time, and sat on the balcony to practice health-preserving exercises. When the sun came out, she absorbed a little bit of sun-purple energy every day into her danshan. After practicing, Su Qingni washed up and went out for breakfast. Although the food she cooked tasted better, Su Qingni was too lazy to cook. She usually ate outside in the morning, and usually ordered lunch and dinner outside. Only when she was interested would Su Qingni cook for herself. Whenever she cooked for herself, Huo Manman, who was at home, would run to Su Qingni's house to eat and drink. However, this girl has a lot of exercise. Although she eats a lot, she keeps her figure very well. It is much better than those female stars who lose weight by dieting. Huo Manman has a strong body and a good front and back. Unlike those female stars, each one looks like a shriveled bean sprout. After breakfast, Su Qingni went into the supermarket to buy some ingredients. In order to comfort the heartbroken Huo Manman, I will cook for myself at noon today. Carrying the ingredients, Su Qingni walked back to her home. In the elevator, she met Xiao Zhang, the assistant who came to deliver breakfast to Huo Manman. Xiao Zhang is 2 years younger than Huo Manman. Although she is not very old, she has been working as Huo Manman's assistant for many years. This girl also came out to make a living after graduating from high school. Feng Tuangliu felt that Xiao Zhang and he were in the same boat, so he accepted Xiao Zhang and let Xiao Zhang be Huo Manman's assistant. Su Qingni thought that Feng Tuangliu would take Xiao Zhang with him when he left. "You didn't leave with Feng Tuangliu?" Su Qingni asked Xiao Zhang. Xiao Zhang smiled faintly, "Although I am very grateful to Brother Liu for giving me the opportunity and accepting me. But over the years, the person who paid me was Man, and the one who spent the most time with me was also Man. This is a girl with a conscience." Su Qingni smiled at Xiao Zhang and said, "Yesterday Man took a USB drive from me, which contained some information about agents. Take a look first, and then discuss it with Man to choose a reliable agent." "Thank you, Xiao Su." Xiao Zhang thanked Su Qingni. Su Qingni waved her hand and said to Xiao Zhang, Man cried until 3 o'clock in the morning today before she fell asleep. Don't wake her up. Bring her to my house for lunch at noon." Xiao Zhang nodded in agreement. She felt that Huo Manman was quite lucky. Although she was abandoned by Brother Liu, at least she had a reliable friend like Su Qingni. If there was no Su Qingni, she and Huo Manman would be at a loss and would not know what to do next. Su Qingni returned home and started preparing lunch. The dish she was going to make was tomato beef. The beef needed to be stewed for a long time before it would be soft and rotten, so it was time to put the beef in the pot. By the way, she also washed and cut the other ingredients, and just waited until the time came to put them in the pot. Su Qingni turned on her computer and clicked on the web page. As expected, the news that Huo Manman and her agent Feng Tuangliu had terminated their contract occupied the headlines of the entertainment section, while the news that Feng Tuangliu had signed a contract with new artist Zhan Shanshan occupied the second place. Netizens discussed these two articles, and most of them were talking about how great Zhan Shanshan's potential was, and Feng Tuangliu actually abandoned Huo Manman and chose Zhan Shanshan. It can be seen that the eyes of netizens are sharp, and they all discovered that Feng Tuangliu used artists as tools for his upward climb and abandoned them when he felt that they had no use value. Of course, although some netizens condemned Feng Tuangliu's behavior, more people were curious about how much potential Zhan Shanshan had and why Feng Tuangliu was optimistic about her. Some netizens have already opened a bet and are betting on how far Zhan Shanshan can go. Many people speculate that Zhan Shanshan can become the top star in the country and become a movie queen, and some people speculate that Zhan Shanshan can go abroad. Their speculations are very conservative, and no one would speculate that Zhan Shanshan will become a superstar that is popular all over the world. Chapter 485 System Battle 10. At noon, Xiao Zhang accompanied Huo Manman to Su Qingni's house, and the three of them had a rich lunch. After the meal, Xiao Zhang washed the dishes, and Su Qingni and Huo Manman sat in the living room to eat fruit. Su Qingni picked up a piece of cut kiwi fruit, put it in her mouth, chewed it, swallowed it, and asked Huo Manman, "Have you read the information of those agents?" Huo Manman sniffed and replied, "I went home and went to bed yesterday. I just woke up and came to your house. Where do I have time to read the information?" Su Qingni said, "Oh," and didn't ask again. Instead, Huo Manman couldn't sit still, and said to Su Qingni, "Lend me your computer, I'll read the information now." Su Qingni got up and went to the room to get a laptop for Huo Manman. This laptop is not for Su Qingni herself, but a spare one. There are too many things in Su Qingni's computer that are not suitable for others to see. Just looking at the appearance, the spare computer is the same as the computer Su Qingni usually uses. Anyway, Huo Manman didn't know that Su Qingni gave her a spare computer, and she wouldn't say anything even if she knew. Huo Manman went home first to find the USB flash drive that Su Qingni gave her, took it over, inserted the USB flash drive into the turned-on computer, opened the folder, and carefully read the information inside. Xiao Zhang washed the dishes and sat next to Huo Manman. Huo Manman moved to the other side to make room for Xiao Zhang to read the information inside. Su Qingni went back to the room to take a nap. When she woke up from her nap, Huo Manman and Xiao Zhang had already selected a new agent. The new agent is called Li Guohua, a woman, 46 years old this year. She has been in the entertainment industry for more than 20 years and has brought out many artists. However, due to family reasons, Li Guohua stopped working for 5 years. Now she wants to return to the arena, but has not found an artist she likes. Li Guohua has a good reputation in the entertainment industry. She will never force artists to do things they don't want to do, force artists to attend certain dinners with other meanings, and will not let artists do anything to compete for opportunities. This is a very upright agent. The artists she brings may not be able to become the top in the country, but they can walk steadily step by step without too many black materials to be caught. Huo Manman did not choose Li Guohua at first, because Li Guohua did not bring top artists abroad. Huo Manman wanted to become a top artist in China, wanted to suppress Zhan Shanshan, and make Fang Tuangli regret it. An agent like Li Guohua was not her choice. However, Xiao Zhang persuaded Huo Manman. Xiao Zhang knew Huo Manman's character very well. What she needed was an agent who was stable and respected her, not an agent who gave her too many instructions in order to push her to the top. If she chose such an agent, Huo Manman would definitely have conflicts with the agent, and if the conflict got serious, they would break up. It would be better to choose an agent who respected Huo Manman and would listen to Huo Manman's opinions and ideas from the beginning. Huo Manman knew her own business. After thinking for a while, she took Xiao Zhang's advice and chose Li Guohua. When Su Qingni came out of the bedroom, Huo Manman told Su Qingni about a candidate, and asked Xiao Zhang to call Li Guohua immediately. Li Guohua has not found the artist he wants to bring yet, and he was a little moved after receiving Xiao Zhang's call. Huo Manman has developed well in recent years, and Fang Tuangli has really protected her very well. She has almost no black material, and has a good reputation in the entertainment industry. She is a very clean artist. Li Guohua appreciates such artists. Immediately, Li Guohua asked where Huo Manman was, and then he came to her house in person. Huo Manman went back to her home to receive Li Guohua. The three chatted for a night and confirmed that Li Guohua would become Huo Manman's agent. After that, Huo Manman became busy. Li Guohua got Huo Manman a TV series in which she played the second female role, and took on some other jobs. In addition, Huo Manman composed and arranged her own music whenever she had time. She was so busy every day that she had no time to think about Fang Tuangliu, and no time to be sad. Fang Tuangliu and Zhan Shanshan rose strongly. Fang Tuangliu asked Zhan Shanshan to participate in a singing competition program. Zhan Shanshan would sing a new song written by herself in each round of the competition, and each of those new songs was a classic. Zhan Shanshan's reputation as a talented woman spread and gained many fans. Her fame in the music industry is on the verge of surpassing Huo Manman's. Fortunately, Huo Manman is now focusing on acting. Zhan Shanshan is in the limelight, and Huo Manman is very upset. Every time she sees news about Zhan Shanshan, she gets angry, especially when some people compare her with Zhan Shanshan and she is at a disadvantage. Huo Manman is so angry that she smashes the table. Li Guohu persuaded Huo Manman and analyzed in a gentle tone what consequences would be caused to her if Huo Manman and Zhan Shanshan confronted each other. I have to say that Zhan Shanshan is really good at music. Li Guohu was not afraid of Huo Manman getting angry, and put the facts in front of Huo Manman. Zhan Shanshan's ability in writing lyrics and composing music is beyond the reach of many top lyricists and composers in the music industry. You don't have to be discouraged if you can't compare to her. Zhan Shanshan has a good voice, and her singing skills are getting better and better. With her conditions, it is inevitable that she will stand at the top of the music scene. Don't be unconvinced. I know you want to surpass Zhan Shanshan, but in terms of music, you really can't beat her. Huo Manman was furious, but she knew that Li Guohu was telling the truth, so she didn't lose her temper at Li Guohu even if she was angry, and listened to what Li Guohu said. She couldn't help feeling depressed. Feng Tuangliu and Su Qingni really had good vision. They saw Zhan Shanshan's extraordinariness when she was still gravel. Don't blame Feng Tuangliu for giving up on herself. Don't be too depressed. Li Guohu comforted Huo Manman. In music, you can't catch up with Zhan Shanshan. But you can surpass Zhan Shanshan in other aspects. You are now in the golden acting circle and you are doing well. You can put more energy on this. In the future, you can win the title of Best Actress and Best Actress, and you can also stand at the top of the entertainment industry. Hearing this suggestion, Huo Manman nodded vigorously. Although she likes music and singing more, acting is also very interesting, and the carrot Li Guohu gave her was too juicy, and Huo Manman wanted it very much. In this way, Huo Manman's work from then on was mainly acting. For this reason, Huo Manman also specially invited a respected performing artist in the circle to teach her acting skills. Huo Manman studied very seriously, and she herself was quite talented in acting, which made her perform better and better during filming, and the director was very satisfied with her. After the TV series in which she played the second female role ended, the director recommended her to participate in another TV series as the first female role. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486 System Operations I. Spicy crayfish, do you want to eat it? Huo Manman pointed at the food box in Xiao Zhang's hand and asked Su Qingni with a smile. Yes. Su Qingni let the two people in. Xiao Zhang put the food box on the coffee table in the living room and opened the lid. In addition to spicy crayfish, there were also fried snails and various grilled skewers. Su Qingni took out beer from the refrigerator and drank one bottle each. Did Li Guohu ask you to avoid eating? Su Qingni asked Huo Manman. Huo Manman chuckled. Sister Li didn't stop me from eating meat after knowing my activity level. Sister Li said that it is not advisable to lose weight by dieting. I am fine like this. Su Qingni, it's not that people of the same family are like each other. Do you think this agent is good now? Huo Manman nodded vigorously, but did not answer. She was holding a grilled squid and biting it fiercely. Su Qingni smiled at Huo Manman's casual appearance, and suddenly, her eyes were stern. Man, have you met Zhan Shanshan? Su Qingni asked. Huo Manman swallowed the squid and snorted. I have never had any contact with her. Isn't it Zhan Shanshan? Then who could it be? Su Qingni asked again. Are there any interesting people in your crew or people who you think are different from others? No, not everyone is like that. Huo Manman said. Why do you ask that? Su Qingni smiled and said, I feel a little bored at home, and I want to go to your crew to have a look. Is that possible? Why not? Huo Manman said, if you want to go, come with me tomorrow and say you are my other assistant. Su Qingni smiled and said, okay, call me when you go to the crew tomorrow. The next day, Xiao Zhang came to knock on Su Qingni's door. Su Qingni went to the crew with Huo Manman and Xiao Zhang. The crew was in the film and television city in the city, and it was a modern drama, so makeup didn't need to be too troublesome, so Huo Manman was able to go home and live. When they arrived at the film and television city, most of the crew had already arrived. Su Qingni carefully observed the people in the crew. Most of them were ordinary people and they were not affected. However, the leading actor and an important supporting actor are in a very similar situation to Huo Man. Their luck is being absorbed by others bit by bit. I believe that readers are all aware of what luck is. If a person's luck is taken away, then that person will be miserable. Bad luck is inevitable. Huo Man is determined to reach the top of the entertainment industry. In addition to her own efforts, luck is also one of the factors that determine her success. If her luck is taken away by others, without luck, let alone reaching the top of the entertainment industry, she will not be able to keep her current position, and her career will plummet. No matter how good her acting skills are, she will not be asked to act. This kind of thing of robbing others of their luck is too much. Are all the crew members here? Su Qingni looked at the crew and asked Xiao Zhang. Xiao Zhang shook his head. Ma Xiaoyan, who plays the fourth female, has not come yet. She filmed the night scene yesterday and rested this morning. The crew arranged her role in the afternoon. Oh. Su Qingni felt that this Ma Xiaoyan should be the person she was looking for. Su Qingni followed Xiao Zhang all morning, watching the crew busy. Because the main members of the crew were deprived of their luck, some people who were originally lacking in luck began to have bad luck, and several accidents occurred, affecting the filming of the crew. Other crew members whispered to each other and gave the unlucky third woman the nickname Bad Luck Star. Even the director thought about not looking for the third woman to film in the future, so as not to affect the progress of filming. The entertainment industry believes in some metaphysical customs, just like praying to gods at the beginning of the filming to bless smooth filming. The third woman has such a nickname of Bad Luck Star. Not only will the director of the crew not look for her to film now, but other crews may not look for her to film either. The future of the third woman is worrying. It is already her own who has ruined other people's future, and it is even more hateful to rob others of their luck. At noon, we had a box lunch, which tasted pretty good. Not only did Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang eat all the food, but Huo Man also ate all the food. Other actors, even male actors, were not as heroic as Huo Man. And it was because of her performance that everyone thought she was a generous person and had a good impression of her. Huo Man was very popular in the crew. Although there were people who were jealous of her, most people were still very friendly with her. After dinner, the fourth female named Ma Xiaoyan finally came to the crew. Su Qingni only took a glance and knew that this woman was indeed the mastermind of plundering other people's luck. Ma Xiaoyan also carried a system on her body, called the Koi system. This system does not have the ability of Koi to bring good luck to its owner, and can only make the host lucky by plundering other people's luck. The way of plundering is to get an item that the plundered person uses for a long time or uses close to the body. Through this item, the system absorbs the luck of the plundered person. Some time ago, Huo Man said that the bracelet she had worn for a long time fell off, and it should be taken by Ma Xiaoyan. Ma Xiaoyan greeted everyone in the crew enthusiastically. When she heard about the bad luck of the third female, Ma Xiaoyan made a sympathetic expression, but her eyes were full of happiness. She robbed others of their things and brought them bad luck, but she was not only not guilty but also so happy. It can be seen that this person's own moral character is problematic. Su Qingni did not talk nonsense. She pretended to have something to do and passed by Ma Xiaoyan. She raised her hand and peeled the so-called Koi system out of Ma Xiaoyan's body. This kind of system that harms people cannot continue to harm people. Su Qingni directly crushed the system. The system was destroyed, and the luck taken away by it was immediately returned to the original owner along the way, while Ma Xiaoyan, who profited from the system, suffered a backlash. Not only did the luck plundered from others return to others, but she also had to lose part of her original luck to compensate those she plundered. From then on, Ma Xiaoyan's luck would only get worse and worse, and the nickname Unlucky Star would eventually fall on her. Sure enough, it was like this. Su Qingni heard from Huo Man and Xiao Zhang that the third female stopped having bad luck, and things kept happening around Ma Xiaoyan, which seriously affected the filming progress of the crew. The director could no longer tolerate it and kicked Ma Xiaoyan out of the crew. Fortunately, Ma Xiaoyan was only the fourth female role and she did not have many scenes. The director quickly found another actress to play the fourth female role and worked overtime to shoot. It took more than half a month to finally catch up with the schedule. Ma Xiaoyan's unlucky star status made no crew want her. This girl who took shortcuts by relying on the system felt a lot after the system disappeared. She did not insist on staying in the entertainment industry, and no one knew where she ran off to. Man scenes were finished, and she took Su Qingni out for dinner to celebrate. Chapter 487 System Operations. I saw a restaurant online that serves delicious food. Let's go there. Man said excitedly. Are you talking about Autumn Leaves Nest? Su Qingni asked. Man nodded. That's it. Su Qingni, this restaurant has really good reviews, and it is very popular because of this. Many people go there to eat. I heard that if you want to eat at his house, you need to make an appointment in advance. Otherwise, they will not accept you if you go there at the last minute. Man smiled proudly. I have asked Xiao Zhang to make an appointment in advance. Let's go. If you go to Autumn Leaves Nest, you won't be kicked out by the boss. Su Qingni gave Man a thumbs up and followed Man out. Because of the advance reservation, Man and the other two got a private room. The private room was elegantly decorated, and the TV on the wall was on, playing the news. The rule of Autumn Leaves Nest is that guests don't order dishes, and they eat whatever the chef cooks today. It's very tough. However, because the chef's skills are very good, no matter what dishes he cooks, they are delicious. Even with such a rule, the guests did not object and accepted it honestly. Because of this rule, the waiter served all the dishes as soon as the three people were ready at the table, and the three people started eating immediately. This taste is amazing. Man took a bite of the sweet and sour pork and couldn't help but give a thumbs up. Xiao Zhang nodded repeatedly. The taste of these dishes was so delicious that she almost swallowed her tongue. Su Qingni also expressed her affirmation. The chef's cooking skills are really high, better than the royal chefs. I can eat here more often in the future. Although it is inconvenient to make an appointment and the price is not cheap, it is worth it just for the taste. The three people began to scramble for food. There was no way. The food tasted too good, but the quantity was not large. If you don't grab it quickly, there will be nothing to eat. After a round of grabbing, the three people's stomachs were almost bulging. Finally, the three artists held a bowl of hawthorn water and drank it slowly to help digest the food. This year's music award for Best Singer. Zhan Shanshan. The familiar name entered the ears of the three people, causing Man's face to twist. She snorted coldly. What's so great about that? My sister also swept the music awards that year. Su Qingni laughed to discourage her, but you didn't win the Grand Slam. Zhan Shanshan won the Grand Slam, and even the Best Lyrics and Composition award went to her. Su Qingni, I'm breaking up with you. Man shouted angrily. Su Qingni smiled and sighed. Alice, the truth always hurts people's hearts. Man snorted. I am now focusing on the entertainment industry, and I am not in the same league with her. As soon as the voice fell, the TV played a video of a reporter interviewing Zhan Shanshan. Zhan Shanshan said on TV, Next, I want to try acting in TV and movies. I will not give up singing, but I am also very interested in acting and want to try it. Man exploded at once. Zhan Shanshan is also going to enter the entertainment industry. Isn't it normal for actors to sing after they are good at acting? Su Qingni was not surprised at all. Zhan Shanshan has a star training system, not a singer training system. Naturally, Zhan Shanshan will get involved in all industries in the entertainment industry. Entering the entertainment industry is a matter of time. Why, are you afraid? Are you afraid that you will be crushed by Zhan Shanshan in acting again? Su Qingni asked. This is very likely. With a plug-in of the star training system, Zhan Shanshan will sooner or later have the acting skills of a queen, and with the performance opportunities provided by the system, Zhan Shanshan's road in the entertainment industry will be much smoother than Man. If Man has no one to help, she can only be crushed by Zhan Shanshan. However, as a good friend of Man, Su Qingni decided to help Man so that she would not be crushed by Zhan Shanshan and completely lose confidence. She can't directly instill theoretical knowledge into Man to improve her acting skills like the system, or give Man some immersive enjoyment, heavenly sound skill card and other plugins, but she can use the existing medicinal materials in this world to help Man improve her physical fitness, teach her external kung fu, and let her act in action movies easily. She can also help Man choose the best acting instructor so that she can learn how to act better. She can use medicinal materials to configure effective skincare products for her, so that Man has delicate skin that can never be tanned, a good figure with a convex front and a good complexion. These days, appearance is becoming more and more important. With a perfect appearance and good acting skills, Man can get along well in the entertainment industry. Besides, Su Qingni has other means of help. On TV, Zhan Shanshan answered the reporter's question. I wrote a script myself and showed it to director Tian. Director Tian is very optimistic about this script and decided to direct this drama. I will play the heroine of this drama. Write the script yourself? She is indeed a talented woman. This is the thought of all the audience who saw this scene. There are already related topics on the internet, all of which are looking forward to Zhan Shanshan's new play. Of course, some people are not optimistic about Zhan Shanshan, thinking that as a singer, it is hard to say whether she has acting skills. So someone slipped Man out to refute the person who raised the question, saying that Man also switched from a singer to the entertainment industry and acted well. Zhan Shanshan is still a talented woman, and her acting skills will only be higher than Man. When Man saw this on her mobile phone, she was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood. She wanted to go to her Weibo to refute this statement. Xiao Zhang quickly stopped Man. Su Qingni chuckled and said, Man, I wrote a script when I had nothing to do at home. Do you want to play the heroine of my script? You write scripts? Man was surprised. You can write scripts? Can you read it? Su Qingni chuckled. Take a look first and tell me. Man, then hurry up and bring it to me. Su Qingni, I'll send them to you when I get home. Man responded. Because of Zhan Shanshan's interview video, her mood became bad. She didn't feel like sitting down anymore and called the waiter to come in to pay the bill. After paying the bill, the three people walked out of the box and were about to leave Kitai's nest. At this time, a young handsome guy walked out of the kitchen. He was wearing a white chef's uniform and a white chef's hat, which made him look very refreshing. The waiters greeted the handsome guy and called him boss. Man saw that the handsome guy's eyes were shining, and whispered to Su Qingni, the owner of this restaurant is the chef. I didn't expect that the chef with such good cooking skills would be so young and so handsome. Su Qingni nodded. No wonder the handsome guy has cooking skills that surpass those of the royal chef. It turns out that he has a gourmet food system. Chapter 488 System Battle 13. Su Qingni would not tear up every system, such as the food system of the boss of Kitai's Ao. In Su Qingni's eyes, this kind of system that can help the host and will not harm others is a good system, and should be well protected. How can it be damaged? The main thing is that without the food system, how can she eat delicious food in the future? Su Qingni did not tear up Zhan Shanshan's system. Although Zhan Shanshan is considered to be Man's opponent, the star system is not a system that damages other people to help the host, so it is no longer within the scope of Su Qingni's tearing. Otherwise, Su Qingni would have deprived Zhan Shanshan of the system long ago, and how could Zhan Shanshan jump so happily? The handsome boss felt Man's side and looked over. His eyes also lit up when he saw Man, and he turned in a direction and walked towards the three people. Are you Man? I like listening to your songs very much. The handsome boss talked to Man. Man had a good impression of the handsome boss, well, mainly because she had a great liking for the dishes made by the handsome guy. The handsome guy chatted with her, and Man responded happily. The two had a very happy chat. Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang looked at each other, walked out of Kitai's nest first, and went to the car to wait for Man. After more than 10 minutes, Man returned to the car. She had a rippled smile on her face, and she looked very happy. Su Qingni couldn't help but tease, have you found your Mr. Right? Man rolled her eyes in an ungracious way, I just met him. Xiao Zhang smiled and said, but you have a high liking for him, it seems that there is a possibility of development. Man's face was slightly red, let it go. Su Qingni laughed, why let it go? Why don't you work harder to get him? It's hard to find a man who cooks such delicious food. If you miss this one, there will be no second one. When you get him, won't you be able to eat delicious food every day? Man felt that this was very right. She was only 3 points interested in the handsome boss, but now she was 9 points interested. The handsome little brother plus all kinds of delicious food. Man's saliva was about to flow out. Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang looked at each other and laughed. Man's love star is moving. Judging from the reaction of the handsome boss, Man is not an unrequited love this time. After returning home, Su Qingni printed out the script from the computer and gave it to Man. Huo Manman was completely attracted by the wonderful plot after reading only 2 pages. Su Qingni has been in the entertainment industry for several lifetimes. She can easily come up with wonderful scripts, and they are all her own original works. She will not bring movies and TV shows from other worlds to this world. Well, this point specifically refers to Zhan Shanshan and her system. When Su Qingni got up the next day, she opened the bedroom door and saw a pair of panda eyes. "Xiao Su, your script is so wonderful." Huo Manman rushed over excitedly. "I must play the second female lead." Su Qingni, you don't play the female lead." Huo Manman, "No. The female lead is not suitable for me. I prefer the second female lead. She is so damn unique." Su Qingni, "The female lead is also very unique. She is righteous with a little evil. She is a very likable character." Huo Manman, "But I prefer the second female lead who is completely bad to the bone. It must be very exciting to play." Su Qingni, "Then you play the second female lead." Huo Manman, "I will ask Sister Hua to come over and let her take a look at the script, and then find a director to shoot it." Su Qingni, "Does your studio have enough money?" Huo Manman, "How would I know? You have to ask Sister Hua about these things." Su Qingni, "This is a hands-off boss." After seeing the script, Li Guohu was overjoyed and wanted to make this movie immediately. Yes, Su Qingni gave a movie script. The main reason is that the filming cycle of a movie is shorter than that of a TV series, and the money spent on a low-budget movie is definitely less than that spent on a TV series. Huo Manman did not sign an entertainment company, but opened a studio on her own. Su Qingni was worried that her studio could not come up with too much money for filming, although Su Qingni would invest. But making a movie makes money faster than making a TV series, so Su Qingni naturally chose to make a movie. However, Huo Manman's studio does not have much money. Although Huo Manman worked hard, the entire studio was previously controlled by Fang Tongliu, and most of the money went into Fang Tongliu's pocket. Fang Tongliu left the studio and took away most of the studio's funds. Now, the studio's funds are really very small, only enough to support daily expenses, and there is no money to make a movie. Su Qingni asked Li Guohu, "How much money can the studio come up with at most?" 5 million. Li Guohu said, "This is the limit of the studio." Li Guohu sighed in disappointment. She was very optimistic about this script. If it can be filmed, it will definitely be a big hit and make money. Unfortunately, although this movie is a low-cost investment, she calculated that it would cost 30 to 40 million. The studio only has 5 million, which is less than 1/5 of the investment amount. If they find other entertainment companies to cooperate in filming, the right to speak will fall into the hands of other entertainment companies, which is not good for the studio. If there is really no other way, Li Guohu does not want to take this approach. Li Guohu wiped his face and said, "I will go to raise money. Xiao Su, can you keep the script and don't sell it to others?" Su Qingni smiled and said, "Don't worry, I wrote this script for Man. Well, although she doesn't want to be the heroine. Li Guohu couldn't help but smile when he heard this. Su Qingni said, "Forget about raising money. I have money and can invest it." Li Guohu was surprised. "You can invest? This is not a small amount, at least 30 million. Su Qingni smiled, "I don't look like a rich man. Living in a small house of 80 square meters and wearing ordinary casual clothes of 1 or 200 yuan, he really doesn't look like a rich man." Su Qingni smiled and said, "Show your QR code." Li Guohu quickly took out his mobile phone and opened WeChat with half belief and half doubt. Su Qingni scanned the QR code on Li Guohu's phone and transferred 30 million to her. Li Guohu's eyes widened when she saw the balance on her mobile phone account. It turned out that there was an invisible local tyrant living next to them. With the money, Li Guohu immediately started looking for a director and started to form a crew. At the same time, Fang Tongliu was also forming a crew, but he was forming a crew for a TV series. Huo Manman's movie and Zhan Shanshan's TV series started shooting on the same day. This kind of fate made the reporters excited. This is monkey shit, there are many things to write about. So, with the deliberate reports of the reporters, Zhan Shanshan and Huo Manman were both on the hot search. Chapter 489 System Operation Ziv. Zhan Shanshan always compares herself with Huo Manman. It can be said that Zhan Shanshan stepped on Huo Manman to get to the top in the early stage. Seeing the report that the reporter compared herself with Huo Manman again, Zhan Shanshan sneered. Huo Manman is not her opponent. Huo Manman is not qualified. Her opponents are those world-class stars. Sooner or later, she will defeat those people and stand on the top of the world. It's just a low-budget movie, and she is just a second female role. What's there to care about? What I want to shoot is the most popular TV series in my previous life. The actors in it became famous because of this TV series, and the heroine is even more famous. My acting skills now are much better than the heroine's acting skills in my previous life. Once this TV series is released, I will definitely be more popular than the heroine in my previous life. Humph, how can Huo Manman at that time compare with me? Zhan Shanshan handed the phone to Fang Tuangliu, who was driving, and asked, "What do you think?" Fang Tuangliu glanced at the news on the screen and said lightly, "It's just a second female lead. With your ability, if you want to make a movie, the female lead will definitely be yours." Zhan Shanshan laughed, "You are so cold-blooded." Fang Tuangliu glanced at Zhan Shanshan, "Isn't this exactly what you admire about me?" Zhan Shanshan laughed even more happily, "Yes, we are the same kind of people. The filming cycle of movies is shorter than that of TV shows. When Zhan Shanshan's TV series was only shot 1/3, Huo Manman's movie had already been shot. When Zhan Shanshan's TV series was shot 2/3, Huo Manman's movie was released. Although it was a low-budget movie, the wonderful plot attracted a large number of audiences. Each character in the movie is very individual, which made the actors who participated in the movie popular. The most popular ones are the heroine and Huo Manman, the second female lead. Huo Manman's second female lead left the most profound impression on the audience, and it was hard for the audience not to remember her. Zhan Shanshan was shocked when she saw the news about the movie and Huo Manman on the location. Suddenly, she felt that Huo Manman was her nemesis. This feeling made her very uncomfortable. How could she be in a good mood when she had suddenly grown to the point where she had to pay attention to someone she had looked down on before? However, someone must be in a worse mood, right? Zhan Shanshan glanced at someone beside her and sneered in her heart. Fang Tuangliu received Zhan Shanshan's glance and remained calm on the surface. He knew that Zhan Shanshan was laughing at her, but was he the kind of person who would let others laugh at him? And he was never the kind of person who would regret it. He abandoned Huo Manman at the beginning, and now he would never regret it. Besides, Huo Manman was just lucky and played a role that suited her very well. This kind of popularity based on a role cannot last long. When the movie is over, people will gradually forget the role, and the existence of the actor will gradually return to normal. Huo Manman was very proud of herself. Not only did she become popular because of the movie, but her studio also made a lot of money because of the investment in the filming of the movie. A 20-fold return rate. It would be enough to make a TV series. Huo Manman was happy and took Su Qingni, Xiao Zhang and Li Guohu to have dinner to celebrate. The location was naturally Xiao. Huo Manman took the initiative. Now she and the handsome boss Chu Junai are already boyfriend and girlfriend. Naturally, there is no need to make reservations in advance. You can eat at Xiao anytime. The handsome boss also made her favorite food for his beloved girlfriend, and other guests couldn't eat it. Pull the handsome boss to celebrate together. The handsome boss taught an apprentice and didn't have to stay in the kitchen all the time. The handsome boss has a gentle and tolerant personality and is very good to Huo Manman, his girlfriend. When Huo Manman first started dating the handsome boss, Fang Tuangliu still remained in her heart, but now, Fang Tuangliu in Huo Manman's heart has completely disappeared and has been completely replaced by the handsome boss. The relationship between the two was very stable, and both had already started to make plans for their life after marriage. As far as Su Qingni knew, the two had discussed about getting married in 2 years. If their relationship was still as good as it is now, they would get married. Huo Manman was happy and drank too much. When she went home, she did not go back with Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang, but went back to someone else's house with her boyfriend. The next day, Huo Manman did not go home. It was not until the third day that Huo Manman went home humming a little song. Su Qingni knew everything about her swaying appearance without asking anything. Huo Manman's pride did not last long. 2 months later, the TV series starring Zhan Shanshan was released. Zhan Shanshan filmed the most popular fairy tale drama in her previous life, which was very bloody, but the audience now likes to watch bloody dramas. Therefore, this TV series was a big hit. The ratings were rising steadily, and the on-demand rate on the internet was also a very shocking number. Zhan Shanshan became popular all over the country with this TV series, even more popular than Huo Manman with his second female lead in the movie. From 80-year-old grandpas and grandmas to 4 or 5-year-old kids, there is no one who doesn't know Zhan Shanshan. After all, TV dramas are free for everyone to watch, while movies require tickets to go to the cinema. Many viewers are reluctant to spend money, so fewer people see Huo Man Man. With this base comparison, Zhan Shanshan is naturally more popular and more famous than Huo Man Man. Huo Man Man saw that the news was full of reports about Zhan Shanshan, especially when she was compared with Zhan Shanshan. She was so angry that her liver hurt. Su Qingni poured Huo Man Man a glass of ice water. Calm down, isn't it just a TV series? Let's make a TV series too, and you play the leading role. Huo Man Man looked at Su Qingni. Do you have a script? Su Qingni smiled. Huo Man Man immediately rushed over, hand over the script quickly. Su Qingni's new script is a palace fighting drama. She has seen the fighting in the harem with her own eyes. The methods are much more advanced than those written by modern screenwriters. Su Qingni only selected a few of them and made people who saw it admire her. Li Guohe immediately took out all the 100 million yuan that the studio had just earned for investment, and Su Qingni also invested 100 million yuan. With a total investment of 200 million yuan, they could make a very good TV series. Li Guohe invited director Chu, who is the best director in the circle at shooting women's dramas, to direct this TV series, and Huo Man Man is the undisputed heroine. When their TV series started filming, Zhan Shanshan's second TV series also started filming. It was also a palace fighting drama, and it was the most popular harem drama in Zhan Shanshan's previous life. It is hard to say that Zhan Shanshan did not choose this drama as her second TV series on purpose. She wanted to rely on the classic TV series in her previous life to crush Huo Man Man's TV series in the same genre. Chapter 490 System Battle 15. Zhan Shanshan had a good idea. The TV series she chose was really good. It was a classic and very popular in her previous life. But the problem was that she met a great god like Su Qingni. The palace fighting dramas in her previous life were not good enough to watch under the real palace fighting scenes restored by Su Qingni. As a result, Zhan Shanshan's palace fighting drama was indeed very popular, but the popularity did not reach her imagination, because it was completely crushed by the palace fighting drama starring Huo Man Man. Huo Man Man not only surpassed Zhan Shanshan in popularity with this palace fighting drama, but also defeated Zhan Shanshan and won the TV Drama General of the Year. Zhan Shanshan simply doubted her life. She brought the system and various classics of her previous life, but she was defeated by a native? It's totally unacceptable, okay? Exclamation mark. However, after watching the palace fighting drama starring Huo Man Man, Zhan Shanshan had to admit that Huo Man Man's palace fighting drama was more exciting than hers, and things in the previous life were not necessarily better than things in other worlds. Unwilling. Zhan Shanshan is not a person who will be defeated after failing once. She put away her frustration and returned to filming another TV series. This time, she chose a classic TV series from her previous life, all of which were suspenseful. Zhan Shanshan played the leading role, a calm and wise female forensic doctor. With this role, Zhan Shanshan won the Best Actress award the following year. Huo Man Man said, "What's so great about Best Actress? I won the Best Actress award the first year. This year, the movie I shot was shortlisted for the Cannes Film Festival, and I was also shortlisted for the Best Actress award. If I'm lucky, I'll be able to win the Best Actress award." Zhan Shanshan, I'll start filming right away. Humph, I have countless classic movies from my previous life, and I will definitely take out the best and most classic one to crush you and become the Best Actress at the Oscars next year. Huo Man Man, I'll wait. So, Huo Man Man became the Best Actress at this year's Cannes Film Festival, while Zhan Shanshan did not become the Best Actress at the Oscars but became the Best Actress at the Venice Film Festival. The two of them chased each other and stepped out of the country at the same time and entered Hollywood. With the scripts given by Su Qingni and the classic Hollywood films from their previous lives provided by the system, Huo Man Man and Zhan Shanshan thrived in Hollywood and eventually became world-class superstars, standing at the top of the world. Although Zhan Shanshan completed the ultimate task issued by the system, she felt very uncomfortable when she saw Huo Man Man standing shoulder to shoulder with her. Such an honor should have belonged to her alone, but now there was one more person to share it, and the glory was shared thinly, which made her really unhappy. Although Fang Tuangliu realized his dream, brought out a world superstar, and became the world's top agent, He felt a little uncomfortable and a little regretful. Huo Manman's achievements exceeded his imagination. He thought that Huo Manman's qualifications were not enough to help him realize his dream, so he abandoned Huo Manman without any nostalgia. He thought that Huo Manman could only stay where he was, and even regressed like the two artists he had led before, and would stop at the ranks of domestic second-tier stars for the rest of his life. But the fact slapped him in the face. Huo Manman not only did not stop at the second-tier domestic line, but became a world-class superstar, even surpassing Zun Shanshan, whom he was optimistic about. Feng Tuangliu had to admit that qualification was only one of the factors for a person to succeed, not the most important factor. Luck was also a part of strength and one of the main factors that determined a person's success. Huo Manman's luck was so good that he was amazed. If Huo Manman had such luck when he was still Huo Manman's agent, he thought, he would not abandon Huo Manman. Su Qingni hummed, "It's not luck, it's her ability to help her friends." In Kiwai's nest, Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang helped Huo Manman to arrange her wedding dress. Today is the day for Huo Manman and Chu Junayu to hold their wedding. Because Huo Manman is too famous now, she will be recognized even if she holds a wedding abroad. So, Huo Manman and Chu Junayu decided to hold a wedding banquet directly in Kiwai's nest to entertain their relatives and friends. Huo Manman didn't have many close friends. Apart from Su Qingni, Li Guohu and Xiao Zhang, she only had a few good friends in her circle and not many relatives. Therefore, not many people came to the wedding banquet. A small autumn leaf nest accommodated all the guests. Today's bride was very beautiful. The fluffy hem of the wedding dress covered the bride's slightly protruding belly. Haha, the bride was getting married with a baby. Su Qingni and Xiao Zhang accompanied Huo Manman as bridesmaids, helping her deal with the guests who came to congratulate her. A young and beautiful girl came over and congratulated Huo Manman with a smile, calling Huo Manman's cousin. Huo Manman talked to the girl. The girl was very good at talking, and a few words made Huo Manman happy. Su Qingni stood quietly aside, did not join the conversation, and politely served as a foil for the bride. It was not until the girl left that Su Qingni asked Huo Manman who the girl was. Her name is Zhang Xiaoxiao, and she is the daughter of Aunt Junliu. Huo Manman introduced to Su Qingni. This girl is the pride of their family, and she is extremely outstanding. Su Qingni raised her eyebrows and asked, "How outstanding?" Huo Manman told Su Qingni all the information she knew. Zhang Xiaoxiao is a top student. From childhood to adulthood, she has always been the first in exams. She skipped 2 grades in elementary school and 1 grade in junior high school, and went to college at the age of 15. She was the top scorer in the college entrance examination that year. When she was in college, Zhang Xiaoxiao opened her own game company, and now the company has an annual tax payment of 100 million. There are many boys pursuing Zhang Xiaoxiao, including sons of wealthy families, male celebrities, and top students, but she doesn't have a boyfriend yet. I think it must be because there are too many choices, and this girl is too fond of peach blossoms. No, Xiaoxiao has someone she likes. The speaker was the groom Chu Junayu, who had just walked over. He heard his wife and friends talking about his outstanding cousin, and felt proud of it, so he interrupted to correct the bride. Xiaoxiao likes Chu Yan and has liked him since she was a child. Chu Junayu said, but Chu Yan is in the army, and they have very little time to be together, so other people don't know that they are together. Chu Yan? The one whose grandfather is a general. Huo Manman asked. Chu Junayu nodded, but Xiaoxiao doesn't like him because of Chu Yan's family background. She really likes Chu Yan as a person. Huo Manman, I know. Among Xiaoxiao's suitors, there are several people with extraordinary family backgrounds, but Xiaoxiao is not tempted. This girl really only cares about people, not anything else. Xiaoxiao is a good child. Chu Junayu loves and is proud of this cousin very much. Chapter 491 System Battle 16. Zhang Xiaoxiao is the pride of all relatives. If this pride is gone, I wonder how sad the Chu family will be. Su Qingni saw Chu Junayu's heartfelt affection for Zhang Xiaoxiao and gave up the idea of making Zhang Xiaoxiao disappear. As for why Su Qingni had this idea? Of course, it was because Zhang Xiaoxiao was not an ordinary person, but a tasker with a system. Just like Lu Chaibi. However, Lu Chaibi mainly focused on conquering men, while Zhang Xiaoxiao replaced the client to live his life again and make up for their regrets. Su Qingni actually felt that these task clients were very sick. Since they wanted to make up for their regrets, why didn't they do it themselves? Why did they ask other people for help? Although those taskers were wearing their body shells, they were not themselves. Seeing those taskers being liked by their relatives and watching the taskers conquer the people they loved, weren't they jealous? The people they loved didn't love them, but the taskers. Also, can they really empathize with the life that the taskers have lived? And they have to pay the price of their souls for a life that they can hardly empathize with. Yes, the price of the soul. Zhang Xiaoxiao's system is not like the other systems. This system is more brutal. It deceives the task and truster, saying that it helps others complete the task, but the reward is the soul of the person. The soul of a person is absorbed by the system, which is equivalent to completely dissipating in the world, and there will be no chance of reincarnation. How can Su Qingni, a non-staff member of the underworld, bear this? The first time she saw Zhang Xiaoxiao, Su Qingni stripped the system off her body. Su Qingni pinched the system, snorted coldly, and used her fingers to squeeze the system into powder. However, Su Qingni's strength this time was less than the previous 2 times she tore the system by hand. The soul of Zhang Xiaoxiao, the original owner, is still stored in the space of this system. Because Zhang Xiaoxiao's life has not yet ended, the transaction between the system and the original owner is not completed, and the original owner did not willingly give up his soul. Su Qingni sent the original owner's soul into the projection of the underworld in this world. No matter whether she still has resentment, the underworld will teach her to be a good person, a ghost. As for Zhang Xiaoxiao now, the tasker, Su Qingni no longer cares. If Zhang Xiaoxiao died, Chu Junai would be sad. Moreover, Hao Manman had just entered the Chu family, and all the relatives of the family died. Doesn't it make Hao Manman look like a disaster? Without the system, Zhang Xiaoxiao has no one to rely on, and can only live like an ordinary person in the future, unable to affect others. As for punishment, there is no need. This cruel system is not only cruel to the client, but also not very gentle to its host. The system directly devours the client's soul and slowly consumes the host's soul. When the soul of a host is consumed and extremely weak, the system will swallow the host's soul and reselect a new host. Zhang Xiaoxiao has actually been punished, and 1/3 of her soul has been consumed. It was also her luck that she met Su Qingni, who helped her unbind from the system. If she continues to entangle with the system, when her soul is consumed by more than half, she will never have the chance to reincarnate. Now, although the various skills and plugins she got from the system have disappeared, there will no longer be so many men around her, and she has no ability to make money, but she has already made a lot of money, which is enough for her to spend in this life, and she will have the opportunity to reincarnate again in the next life. It's really good. Of course, Zhang Xiaoxiao herself didn't know this. She was panicking about the disappearance of the system, and she even left before the wedding banquet of Chu Junayu and Hao Manman was over. Later, Su Qingni learned from Hao Manman that Zhang Xiaoxiao was not able to become a couple with a man named Chu Yan, and the men who pursued her before also had their own partners. Zhang Xiaoxiao sold her game company and married a very ordinary man in all aspects. This made many relatives and friends wonder why Zhang Xiaoxiao made such a choice. Did she give up because she couldn't get Chu Yan? No one knew what was going on with Zhang Xiaoxiao. Only Zhang Xiaoxiao herself knew how much she weighed without the system. Without the plug-in to protect her, how could she play in those profit-oriented worlds? Before getting the system, she was an ordinary person who was not very good. Now she was just back to the way she was. Naturally, she should live an ordinary life again. Her mentality was very good, and it also ensured that her life would be ordinary but stable and warm. She lived a dull life like this, and entered the underworld to reincarnate after death. After registering her, the staff of the underworld said, "It seems that you have lost a lot of soul. Did something happen to you?" Zhang Xiaoxiao was shocked. Was her soul seriously missing? She thought of the endings of her task clients, and felt cold behind her, mainly because ghosts did not have the ability to sweat, and could not sweat coldly. Since the system could devour the client's soul, how could it not devour her soul? It turned out that she had been working for the devil and was being eaten away by the devil bit by bit. Zhang Xiaoxiao was so scared that she couldn't speak. After checking Zhang Xiaoxiao's life, the staff of the underworld knew why she behaved like this, and felt fortunate for Zhang Xiaoxiao. Thanks to the help of a master who destroyed the system for you, Otherwise you would not have the chance to enter the underworld and reincarnate again. Master? What master? Zhang Xiaoxiao asked hurriedly. She wanted to find out who the master was, and then burn 3 incense sticks every morning and evening to thank the master for saving her. The master is the master. With my level, I can't find out who the master is. The staff filled in Zhang Xiaoxiao's information and waved her away. There were many new ghosts behind her who needed to register their information. Zhang Xiaoxiao didn't know who the master was, and she would not remember that the master had saved her in the future, because she had already drunk mangpo soup and reincarnated again. As soon as she jumped into the reincarnation pool, Su Qingni returned to the netherworld. Su Qingni stayed in the previous world for 50 years and found 2 pieces of the true spirit fragments of the ancestor witches, all of which were handed over to Lady Pingxin. Lady Pingxin happily took the 2 pieces of the true spirit fragments belonging to Gonggong and Niangniang and left, and went to a space she had opened up specifically for the resurrection of the 12 ancestor witches. Only Lady Pingxin could enter and exit that space, not even Su Qingni could. Su Qingni returned to the Lich world to rest and practice. The frequent time travel tempered her body and soul. Su Qingni's body and soul became stronger and stronger, and her cultivation level also improved. Chapter 492, The Destitute Daughter. Su Qingni traveled directly into the belly of a pregnant woman and became a fetus that was still in the womb. This world still has a lot of restrictions on Su Qingni, but the mother's womb contains innate ki. Su Qingni absorbed this innate ki and was able to practice some mysterious magic. Well, it can't be used out of thin air, after all, it depends on drawing talismans. Of course, martial arts can be practiced. This world is a low-level martial arts world, and the martial arts level is similar to that of several ancient worlds that Su Qingni traveled through before. Su Qingni practiced in the mother's womb, occasionally collecting information from the conversations between the mother of this body and the people around her, sorting it out, and knowing her identity in this life. The daughter of the Bo family. Although her grandfather Jing Shanbo's title is only middle level, his official position is not low. He is the Minister of Personnel and the confidant of the Emperor. Jing Shanbo's 2 sons were trained by him and were very good. They all entered the court by taking the imperial examination. Her father in this life, Liang Ruming, is Jing Shanbo's 2nd son, and now serves in the Hanlin Academy. Mother Li is the daughter of the Marquis's family, but she doesn't have a very good relationship with her father. Liang Ruming is a scholar, and he likes girls from a scholarly family who know poetry and books, who can chat with him and add fragrance to his sleeves. Unfortunately, the Marquis's family is a family of military merit, and the upbringing of the daughter in the family is completely incomparable to that of the girls from a scholarly family. Although she knows how to read and has read a few books, she can't write poems or paint, which makes Liang Ruming dissatisfied with Li. He only respects Li as his wife, but doesn't like her. Li doesn't feel good because she can't get her husband's love. She originally wanted to get her husband's love by getting pregnant, and thought about giving birth to a son to get her husband's attention. However, after the doctor's diagnosis, she was pregnant with a daughter. Li has been in a bad mood and can't like the child in her belly. If it weren't for the people around her asking her to take good care of her body, and saying that she should bloom first and then bear fruit, who knows if Li would have a miscarriage to frame Liang Ruming's aunt. Su Qingni also found that she had a weak relationship with her parents in this life. Maybe Li did something, for example, stealing a dragon and a phoenix? As a result, Su Qingni was indeed switched, but the mastermind was not her biological mother Li, but the concubine who was framed by Li. The main reason was that Li went too far, which made the concubine hate Li deeply. This concubine Shu was the head maid beside Liang Ruming and also Liang Ruming's first woman. The two had a deep relationship, at least Liang Ruming's feelings for concubine Shu were stronger than for Li. Not long after Li came into the house, Liang Ruming made concubine Shu his concubine. Needless to say, how jealous Li was of concubine Shu, as can be seen from the fact that she wanted to use abortion to frame concubine Shu when she knew that she was pregnant with a daughter. However, her confidant persuaded her to give up the idea, not because she cared about the daughter in her belly, but because the confidant said that miscarriage would hurt her body. Li gave up the idea for the sake of her own health. But not long after, concubine Shu was also found to be pregnant. Li was worried that Aunt Shu was pregnant with a son. If she gave birth to Liang Ruming's eldest son, it would threaten the status of her future sons and would also raise Aunt Shu's status. How could Li tolerate this? She attacked Aunt Shu, causing her to not only have an abortion but also lose her fertility. How could Aunt Chu not take Li? Exclamation mark. But Li had her natal family to rely on. Not to mention her as an aunt, even the wife of the head of the Lian family punished Li with house arrest and then let her go. What could Aunt Chu do? Even Lian Ruming, who doted on her, would not take revenge on Li for her. But Aunt Chu was unwilling to accept this. Her poor child died before he was born, and she could no longer be a mother. This hatred was no less than killing her parents. Aunt Chu hated her like crazy and wanted revenge. Aunt Chu was a house-born child, and her family had many connections among the servants of the Lian mansion. In addition, she gave away all the gold and silver that Lian Ruming and Mrs. Lian used to compensate her for the loss of her child, and she bribed some people. Among them were the midwife who helped Li with her delivery and a big maid beside Li. It just so happened that Aunt Chu's sister-in-law gave birth to a daughter before Li gave birth, so Aunt Chu secretly took the child into the Lian mansion. After Li gave birth to Su Qingni, she exchanged Su Qingni with her sister-in-law's child and took Su Qingni out of the mansion. Although Aunt Chu's sister-in-law was reluctant to separate from her daughter would be the daughter of the Bo mansion in the future, and she would be able to live a good life. Aunt Chu's sister-in-law had no objection. She had a little idea in her heart. When her daughter grew up and married a good family and became the head of the family, she would secretly find her daughter, tell her her true identity, and let her take care of her brothers, so that her son's future would not be a problem, but she was unwilling to take care of a baby who is not her own daughter. Even if this child is the real daughter of the Bull family, her daughter has robbed her of her identity, so she should feel guilty towards her. Aunt Chu's sister-in-law did not feel any guilt at all, and only felt disgust towards Su Qingni. She persuaded the parents of Aunt Chu's brother, saying that Li's daughter must look like Li. If the child is raised by her side, if Li and people around Li see her one day, they will become suspicious and discover the child's true identity. That would be a disaster for their family. If they want Aunt Chu's affairs not to be exposed and want their daughter to live well in the Bull family, they must let the child go and send her far away. Aunt Chu's family thinks what her sister-in-law said is right and agrees with it. Aunt Chu hates Li so much that she wishes they would be separated for life and never see each other again, and let Li help her raise her niece. When Li dies, she will tell Li the truth, and Li will definitely die with regret. Thinking of this, Aunt Chu took out 100 taels of silver and gave it to her brother, asking him to take the person away from the capital as soon as possible, the farther away the better. Aunt Chu's brother landed at Tongzhou Wharf and took a boat all the way to Jiangnan. Aunt Chu's brother was not a bad man. He found a childless family in Jiangnan, handed Su Qingni to that family, and left 20 taels of silver for that family. He thought that since this family had no children, they would definitely treat Su Qingni well, not to mention there were 20 taels of silver. Unfortunately, things are unpredictable. The family did treat Su Qingni well at the beginning, but not long after, the lady who had not responded for many years became pregnant, and gave birth to her own daughter 10 months later. The Su family was no longer as good to Su Qingni as before, and they paid more attention to their own daughter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493, The Destitute Daughter Part 2. 2 years later, the head of the family, Zhang, gave birth to another son, and Su Qingni's status in the Su family became even worse. She was reduced from an adopted daughter of the Su family to little maid. However, at the age of 4 or 5, she not only had to take care of her younger brothers and sisters, but also had to do housework, and the family often withheld Su Qingni's food. Su Qingni was considering a question: should she leave this family now? But seeing her short legs and short hands, Su Qingni decided to stay for a few more years. Anyway, it's just watching the children do housework. She has practiced martial arts well now, so doing housework is just a piece of cake. And taking care of children is not difficult. The 2 children in the Su family are still easy to take care of. Su Xiaomi is quiet by nature and listens to herself very much. If she doesn't let her do something, she will never go back to do it. As for Su Xiaodi, he is still a baby. As long as he is full, he will sleep and sleep, and Su Qingni doesn't need to worry about it. Su Daling and Zhang don't give Su Qingni food. It's even more of a piece of cake. Su Qingni went to the mountains by herself, eating pheasants, wild rabbits, bird eggs, mushrooms and fruits until her belly was full. Occasionally, she would bring back 1 or 2 roasted bird eggs for Su Qingni, who behaved well. Su Qingni was very smart and listened to Su Qingni very much. She would never tell Su Niangniang after eating all the food by herself. In this way, another 3 years passed. Su Qingni grew up a little, and her eyebrows and eyes looked very much like Li, and she was a beauty. When she went out to collect firewood, she was spotted by a matchmaker who came to the village to buy a girl. The matchmaker originally came for another family in the village. That family was so poor that they could not survive, so they thought of selling their daughter. The matchmaker got the news and came to the village to pick up the person, but she didn't expect to see a little beauty. The matchmaker's heart began to beat wildly. This little beauty is really good looking. If she is sold in the building, she can be sold for at least 20 taels of silver. And if such a country family is given 5 taels of silver, they will definitely sell their daughter to themselves happily. If she sells the girl herself, she can earn 15 taels of silver. The matchmaker was very eager and asked the villager who had just sold his daughter, "Whose family is that little girl from?" The villager replied, "That is Su Qingni from Su Daling's family. But she is not the biological child of Su Daling and his wife. They were adopted by the two of them." Adopted. Well done for adopting. If it was a biological child, I'm afraid they would still be reluctant to sell it, but if it was an adopted child, they would definitely want more money, right? The matchmaker hurriedly said to the villager, "Take me to the Su family." The Su family was not a wealthy family. Over the years, they relied on the 20 taels of silver left by Aunt Shu's brother to build a new house and raise a son and daughter. The money was almost used up. Now the matchmaker said that she would buy Su Qingni for 5 taels of silver. How could the two people not agree? They immediately agreed, accepted the money given by the matchmaker, and waited for Su Qingni to go home and let Su Qingni leave with a matchmaker. Su Qingni ran out to find Su Qingni when her family wasn't paying attention, and told Su Qingni what was going on at home. "Sister, don't go home, find a place to hide quickly." Su Qingni didn't want her sister to leave the Su family. Her sister was the best person to her in the family. Her parents valued sons over daughters and only had their younger brother in their eyes. Since she was a child, only her sister had taken care of her. What would she do if her sister left? Su Qingni shook her head, took Su Qingni's hand and walked towards the Su family. "Little sister, after your sister leaves, you have to take care of yourself. I buried some things under the wall on the left side of the backyard, which were all found by your sister in the mountains over the years. When you get married, dig those things out and take them to your husband's house. But don't let your husband know. Women, you still have to have your own private money." Su Qingni kept nagging Su Qingni. In the entire Su family, she only cared about Su Qingni, the child she had brought up since childhood. As for Su Qingni, although Su Qingni also took care of him since he was a child, this child was spoiled by Su Daling and Zhang, and he didn't respect his two sisters at all. Su Qingni naturally lost her good impression of her. The things buried under the wall were the silver money that Su Qingni had earned from collecting herbs and hunting in the mountains over the years. She originally wanted to use it as travel expenses when she left the Su family in the future. In this situation, she could not take the silver money with her, so it was better to leave it to Su Qingni. When Su Qingni finished her instructions, the two had already arrived at the door of the Su family. The matchmaker had been staring at the door. When she saw Su Qingni at the door of the house, she immediately walked up to Su Qingni with a smile like a flower, and said with a smile, "Su Qingni, how about going with your aunt to enjoy happiness?" This was the matchmaker's words to seduce the little girls. When the little girls heard that they were going to enjoy happiness, they would not be reluctant to leave their parents. You know, it is very unlucky to take a crying little girl on the road. Su Qingni raised her head, stared at the matchmaker's greedy eyes, and smiled slightly. "Okay." She turned to look at Su Daling and Zhang. The two of them were not completely without conscience, and there was a trace of guilt on their faces at this time. Su Qingni retracted her gaze and said to the matchmaker, "Let's go." The matchmaker was surprised. She rarely saw such a straightforward girl. "Aren't you going to say goodbye to your parents?" "No need." Su Qingni said lightly, "The money I earned from selling my body has already paid for their love and care for me over the years. From now on, I have nothing to do with them." The matchmaker couldn't help but take a breath. This girl is so cold-hearted. She is so ruthless at such a young age. Who knows what she will be like when she grows up? However, such a ruthless person can only live well in that kind of place, right? However, if I sell her to a brothel, will she hate me? Will she seek revenge on me when she becomes rich? The matchmaker shuddered. Otherwise, she should not sell her to a brothel, but to a wealthy family as a maid. With this girl's appearance and personality, she will definitely climb to a high position, and maybe one day she will become a master. At that time, this girl will remember her kindness and may give me some rewards. Thinking of this, the matchmaker gave up her original plan. Su Qingni glanced at the matchmaker without saying a word, and followed the matchmaker silently. There was another girl following her, Chunni from the village. Her family was poor, so they had to sell her. But Chunni's worth was not as high as Su Qingni's, so the matchmaker only gave Chunni's family 2 taels of silver. But this also made Chunni's family very happy. 2 taels of silver was a huge sum of money in their eyes. With these 2 taels of silver, it was enough for their whole family to have enough food and not starve to death. Chunni would sneak a glance at Su Qingni with her little eyes from time to time. She couldn't understand why the Su family, the richest family in the whole village, would sell their child like her family did. Chunni wanted to ask Su Qingni, but unfortunately Su Qingni's aura was cold, and the little girl didn't dare to talk to her. Chapter 494, The Destitute Daughter III. There was a carriage parked at the entrance of the village, and the driver sat beside it smoking a pipe. Seeing the matchmaker walking out of the village with 2 children, the driver stood up and took down a bench and placed it next to the carriage. The matchmaker asked Su Qingni and Chunni to climb into the carriage, and then she got in. Chunni lifted the curtain of the carriage and wanted to enter the carriage, but found that there were already several girls who were not much different from her age sitting in the carriage. She was slightly stunned. "What are you standing there for? Hurry up and get in and sit down. We still have to rush to the next village." The matchmaker slapped Chunni into the carriage, but she didn't dare to touch Su Qingni. Chunni hurriedly entered the carriage and chose a seat to sit down. Su Qingni also chose a seat. After the matchmaker sat down, she asked the driver to drive the carriage to the next destination. When they arrived at the next village, the matchmaker got off the carriage and went into the village to continue buying people. A group of little girls huddled in the carriage. Without the matchmaker, the little girls became bolder and began to speak in a low voice. They first asked Chunni and Su Qingni's names. Su Qingni just said lightly, "Su Damini." Then she acted in a daze and did not participate in the girls' chat. Seeing her unsociable appearance, the girls pouted unhappily and ignored Su Qingni, and isolated her together. Chunni was very perceptive and knew how to choose, so even though she was from the same village as Su Qingni, she chose those girls instead of Su Qingni. After half an hour, the matchmaker came back and brought back another little girl. Then they headed to the next village. At the end of the day, the matchmaker went to several villages and brought back more than 10 little girls. The matchmaker took the little girls into the city, rested in her home for a night, and took a few little girls out the next day. These girls had a delicious meal at the matchmaker's house and were very fond of her. They had no intention of resisting whatever the matchmaker asked them to do. They even followed the matchmaker out happily, thinking that the matchmaker was taking them to enjoy a good life. However, they did not know that the matchmaker brought all these pretty girls into the women's branch. The next day, the matchmaker took the remaining girls on the carriage again. Their destination was Suzhou, which was more prosperous than the county town. There, the price of human trafficking was higher. However, the matchmaker had no power in Suzhou, so she just sold a group of girls to a matchmaker in Suzhou. The matchmaker in Suzhou was very satisfied with the goods this time, especially after seeing Su Qingni. The brightness in her eyes increased a bit. "Not bad, not bad. A few days ago, Madame Sun from Qianglao told me to keep an eye out for good seedlings. She wanted to train another courtesan. Now, the candidate is here." The matchmaker Lin, who bought Su Qingni from the Su family, quickly leaned over to the ear of the Suzhou matchmaker Wu and said a few words. Mrs. Wu looked at Su Qingni in surprise, her eyes scanning her body, and asked Mrs. Lin, "You are not lying to me, are you? How old is this little girl? How can she make you feel afraid?" Mrs. Lin said hurriedly, "I took her from her parents and saw her attitude towards her parents with my own eyes. Look at the aura of the little girl, which is different from those little girls. She is not an ordinary person. It would be fine if she never gets powerful in her life, but once she gets powerful, she wants to take revenge on those who have offended her. Do you think we can defeat her?" Mrs. Wu frowned, "Then let her never get powerful in her life. Mrs. Lin looked at her. Do you think this is possible? Mrs. Wu sighed. I understand. In this case, I'll do as you said. I won't make money from Kehunglao. Mrs. Lin smiled and said, the money that rich families pay for buying maids is not much less than what the building pays. Mrs. Wu nodded. It just so happens that the prefect's family wants to buy a few maids. I will take a few maids there tomorrow. Mrs. Lin was surprised. Doesn't the prefect have a family and children? Why does he buy a maid from outside to serve? Mrs. Wu lowered her voice and whispered in Mrs. Lin's ear. Others could not hear Mrs. Wu's voice, but Su Qingni, who had sharp facial features, heard it clearly. I heard that the aunt of the prefect colluded with his servants in the mansion and plotted against the young master of the prefect, causing the young master to almost die. The prefect and his wife were furious. They not only dealt with the aunt, but also dealt with all the servants who colluded with the aunt. The aunt was born in the prefect's family, and many of them had collusion with the servants in the mansion. This time, the prefect and his wife almost cleared out most of the servants in the mansion. Now they are in urgent need of people. You came at the right time. Maybe these girls can enter the prefect's mansion. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Lin showed an expression of surprise and envy on her face. These girls are so lucky. Entering the prefect's house is like falling into a blessed nest, isn't it? That's right. Mrs. Wu nodded in agreement. Her eyes fell on Su Qingni again. This girl is good looking, and she is only a few years older than the young master of the prefect's family. Maybe she can really become the young master's roommate. Mother Lin also looked at Su Qingni. This good-looking person has a good life. Mother Wu sneered. Are you joking? Good-looking people have more miserable lives, like those girls in the building. Which one is not good-looking? Mother Lin, the elder sister is right. Because all these girls had to be sent to the prefect's house, and it was unclear which one of them would be able to climb up the ladder in the future, Mother Wu did not dare to abuse these girls, but treated them to a good meal, cleaned up their rooms, let them sleep well, and the next day, took the girls to the prefect's house. The prefect's surname was Qin, and he was originally a descendant of a noble family. However, he worked hard on his own and did not rely on the family's influence. He passed the imperial examination and was favored by the emperor, who worked hard to cultivate him. Now he is only over 30 years old and has become a prefect of the 4th rank. The prefect's wife's surname was Jin, and she was also from a noble family. However, unlike Li, who only knew a few words, Jin was a talented woman, and she and Prefect Qin got along well and loved each other. The couple has a son and a daughter. The daughter is 6 years old and the son is 4 years old. The Qin family is a single-line family and attaches great importance to offspring. The concubine of Prefect Qin actually attacked young Master Qin, which touched Prefect Qin's reverse scale. The concubine was assigned to his son by Prefect Qin's biological mother. Prefect Qin treated the concubine well for the sake of his mother, who knew that the concubine actually had evil thoughts and wanted to harm his son. The prefect didn't care about his mother's face and dealt with the concubine very swiftly. As for why the concubine attacked his son, Prefect Qin didn't want to know. The wife and concubine are fighting for supremacy. What is there to say? Chapter 495, The Destitute Daughter. Mrs. Qin bought the maids for her own children. After the incident with her aunt, she was wary of the maids from her family, so she would rather buy maids from outside to take care of her children. Let's not talk about the loyalty of the maids bought from outside. They have no foundation in the mansion and can only rely on their masters, which is much better than the maids from her family. The maids from her family have too deep a foundation in the mansion. If they have any bad intentions, the masters can't guard against them. Wu Pozi was right. All the maids she brought into the mansion were accepted by Mrs. Qin. Wu Pozi left happily with the reward money, leaving a group of uneasy little maids. The housekeeper asked a nanny to take the little maids down to arrange for them to stay first, and then teach them the rules. After the rules were taught, they were sent to Mrs. Qin for her to choose. The selected ones would stay as maids for the young ladies and young masters, and the unselected ones would do some rough work in the mansion. Su Qingni was isolated by a group of little maids, but she didn't care. The original intention to leave was temporarily put aside. She understood the situation of the Qin family and felt that it was not bad to stay in the Qin family for the time being. Even if she was a maid in the Qin family, it would be much easier than when she was in the Su family. When she is older, she will leave independently. The little girls have already understood that serving the young master and the young lady is a good job. Servants are also divided into different levels. Serving the young master and the young lady is the highest level. Especially serving the young master and growing up with the young master, if you're lucky enough to be noticed by the young master and taken into his room, you can go from being a servant to being half a master, and enjoy endless wealth and glory from then on. Therefore, the little girls are vying to be maids by the young master and the young lady. Su Qingni, who was good-looking and had an outstanding temperament, became their rival. They excluded and isolated Su Qingni together, and even some little girls secretly framed Su Qingni, wanting to disfigure Su Qingni or injure her hands and feet, so that Su Qingni would not have the opportunity to serve the young lady and the young master. However, these calculations were resolved by Su Qingni one by one. Su Qingni let the two people who were malicious in their hearts, who wanted Su Qingni to disfigure and break her hands and feet, reap what they sowed. These two people immediately stopped reading and learning the rules and were assigned to the jobs of pouring night incense and washing toilets. Of course, Su Qingni did not think about serving the young lady and the young master. Serving as a young lady and the young master, there is little free time in a day. It is better to do rough work such as sweeping and sweeping. As long as you finish your own work, you can arrange the rest of the time yourself. A month later, the housekeeper's wife took the little maids who had learned the rules to the head lady, and the lady selected the maids for her son and daughter. Su Qingni understood Mrs. Qin's mentality at this time, so she did not hide her appearance. Sure enough, her good looks immediately attracted Mrs. Qin's attention. However, Mrs. Qin did not like it, but frowned. She would never put such a beautiful girl next to her daughter to steal her daughter's limelight. After the incident with her aunt, she didn't want to put such a beautiful maid next to her son. If her son was fascinated by her beauty, it would not be good for this girl to succeed. If this girl is as big-hearted as Aunt Zhao, wouldn't it endanger her little grandson? Mrs. Qin thought too far ahead, and didn't think that her son was only a 4-year-old being now. If she wanted to have a grandson, she would have to wait for more than 10 years. More than 10 years later, Su Qingni left the Qin family. Mrs. Qin possessed Su Qingni first. She selected 4 ugly little girls from a group of little girls, including Chunni. But the name Chunni was too rustic, so Mrs. Qin changed her name to Chunlin and asked her to serve Miss Qin. Chunlin was so happy that she looked at Su Qingni with great pride. Su Qingni ignored her look. The maids who were not selected by Madame Qin were taken out by the housekeeper's wife. The housekeeper's wife looked at Su Qingni with some pity and assigned Su Qingni to prune branches in the garden. It is difficult to show up in front of the master with this kind of work. This almost cuts off Su Qingni's way to advancement. But Su Qingni is very satisfied with it. This job is easy, just pruning branches and taking care of flowers and plants, and the work for the day is done. The rest of the time can be used for cultivation and refining medicine. Well, although she doesn't have much money on hand now and can't buy many medicinal materials, she can only refine some simple pills. But even if it is simple, the effect is extraordinary. For example, the pill for clearing the intestines, taking one can make the stomach and intestines unobstructed, no longer suffering from constipation, and it will not hurt the body like croton. Su Qingni's time in the Qin family can be said to be very brisk. With more time to practice, Su Qingni's strength has improved a lot. Su Qingni can also draw some high-level talismans. On this day, Su Qingni was hiding in her secret space to draw talismans. This secret space is located in the corner of the garden. There is a rockery in front of it, and few people come here. In addition, after Su Qingni occupied this place, she set up a formation nearby, so other people would not find this space. Su Qingni usually comes here to practice, draw talismans or make medicine after finishing her work. "What are you doing?" A voice with a baby voice sounded beside Su Qingni's ear. Su Qingni was startled and raised her head suddenly, looking at the child who tilted his head and looked at her. Judging from the clothes he was wearing, it should be the precious young master of the Qin family, right? This young master looked thin and small, and he was indeed a premature baby and was born weak. It was because the Qin family was rich and powerful, and used good medicine and good things to feed this young master, that the young master grew up so big now. If he was born in an ordinary family, I'm afraid this child would have died long ago. Well, the problem now is not to study the young master's body, but how did he run into his secret base? The formation outside is useless to him. Su Qingni looked at the young master carefully, trying to find out what was unusual about him. Then, she found out. It turned out that there was a large fragment of the ancestor witch's true spirit in the young master's soul, whose fragment belonged to Dejiang. Niangniang is the ancestor witch who controls space and speed. The young master's soul was affected by it, so the formation she arranged naturally had no effect on the young master. Of course, it was also because she only arranged a simple illusion formation that could only block ordinary people. If she arranged a more difficult formation, the young master would not be able to get in. Hey, why don't you answer my question? The young master was unhappy when he saw Su Qingni staring at him blankly. Su Qingni reacted and smiled at the young master. Chapter 496, The Destitute Daughter. The young master carries a fragment of Niangniang's true spirit, so Su Qingni will naturally treat him differently from others. Well, letting this child grow up safely and healthily is a reward for him bringing the fragment of the ancestor witch's true spirit to her. Su Qingni smiled kindly at the young master. I'm just drawing for fun. Drawing for fun. The young master stretched his head to look at the talisman paper on the stone slab and nodded. You are really drawing for fun, otherwise how could you draw so ugly? I can't even tell what you drew. Su Qingni chuckled, folded a drawn amulet into a triangle, and handed it to the young master. This is for you. The young master took the amulet and asked in confusion, what is this? Did you draw it too? Yes. This is the result of my practice for a long time. Don't dislike it. Su Qingni acted pitiful and expectant. The young master was originally quite disgusted, but the pitiful look of the little maid in front of him, who he liked, made the young master a little reluctant. He put away his disgust and said to Su Qingni, since it is the result of your hard work, I will accept it reluctantly. Then he took out his small purse and stuffed the amulet into the purse. Hey, what's your name? The young master felt that the girl in front of him was quite pleasing to his eyes, so he sat next to Su Qingni and chatted with her. My name is Su Qingni. Su Qingni told the young master her name. She was not afraid that the young master would tell others about her. Just now, she had given the young master a psychological hint that the young master would not tell others about her. My name is Niangniang. The young master told Su Qingni his name. Your painting is too ugly. Do you want me to teach you to paint? Asked the young master Qin. He learned to paint from his mother. Although his sister said that his painting was not good, it was much better than the girl in front of him. He can learn to paint like his own mother taught a little girl. No need. Su Qingni refused. My paintings should be like this. This is called abstract painting. Abstract painting? What is that? The young master had never heard of this term. Abstract painting is. Su Qingni explained the definition of abstract painting to the young master. The young master was stunned. Is there such a painting school? Why haven't I heard of it? Su Qingni, this school was invented by Westerners. It's normal that the young master has never heard of it. Then how did you hear about it? And did you learn it? The young master was very confused. Su Qingni, because I once met a foreigner and learned some from him. Foreigners? Are they like the legend, with red hair and green eyes, white skin like ghosts, and look scary? The young master asked. The young master was very curious about new things and people. He sat next to Su Qingni and asked her many questions, and Su Qingni patiently answered them one by one, until the voices of the maids outside were heard, calling for the young master. The formation set up by Su Qingni was semi-soundproof. The sound inside the formation could not be transmitted, but the sound outside the formation could be transmitted. Chuju and the others are calling me. I'm leaving first. I'll play with you tomorrow. The young master patted the dust off his butt, waved to Su Qingni, and ran out of the secret space. Then the joyful voices of the maids were heard. A group of maids ran over and surrounded the young master and left. Su Qingni waited until everyone left before walking out of the secret space, looking towards the inner courtyard, retracting her sight, and returning to the secret space to continue doing her own things. She is now a maid of the lowest level, but there is no separate room for her to live in. She lives in a room with 5 little maids. Those maids are always noisy, which makes it inconvenient for Su Qingni to do anything, so she stays in her secret space most of the time. Only when she goes to bed will she return to the room with the maids. After today, the young master will get rid of his maids and run to the secret space to play with Su Qingni. Although he could not stay in the secret space for a long time, otherwise if he did not appear in front of his maids for a long time, those maids would definitely turn the whole Qin mansion upside down. The young master did not know the existence of the formation. In order to prevent others from discovering the secret space, he would stay in the secret space for half an incense stick and then go out. Although half an incense stick is not long, he can still do some things. For example, exercise. The young master's health is too poor and he is short-lived. However, Su Qingni decided to help the young master because of the fragments of the true spirit. She would make the young master strong and live a happy and healthy life. Su Qingni tricked the young master into practicing the improved version of the 5 animals play. Half an incense stick is enough for the young master to practice the improved version of the 5 animals play from beginning to end. This set of 5 animals play can consolidate the foundation of the practitioner, make up for the body damaged by premature birth, make the body healthy, and increase the lifespan accordingly. This set of 5 animals play is a special health-preserving exercise, which does not have much lethality, but the practitioner's strength will increase and his skills will be more agile, and internal strength does not exist. Although the young master was tricked by Su Qingni into practicing at first, after a few times, he felt that his body seemed to be better. After that, even if Su Qingni stopped caring about him, he would take the initiative to practice the 5 animals play. The effect was remarkable. The young master's health began to improve, and he began to grow meat, and he was no longer as thin as before. Every winter, the young master would get sick because of his weak body, but this winter, the young master did not get sick at all. This made Prefect Qin and Mrs. Qin very happy. They had all seen the young master practicing the 5 animals play. After the young master felt the benefits of practicing the 5 animals play, he not only practiced in the secret base, but also practiced outside, thinking that it was just a child playing, and didn't care. But the young master's health got better, and Prefect Qin saw some of the tricks when he saw his son playing in circles. He followed his son to practice the 5 animals play with suspicion, and soon, Prefect Qin also felt the benefits of the 5 animals play. Prefect Qin was surprised and quickly asked his wife and daughter to practice with him. In their family of 4, not only the young master's health was poor, but the health of the other 3 people was also not very good. The Qin family has been a single-line family for several generations, which is inseparable from the poor health of the Qin family. As for Mrs. Qin, she has not been pregnant for several years after marrying into the Qin family. In order to have a child, Mrs. Qin took a lot of medicine, which caused damage to her body. Her originally healthy body has become bad now. In addition, giving birth to 2 children in a row has caused serious damage to her body. Mrs. Qin's health is actually only slightly better than that of the young master, and her lifespan has been greatly shortened. Chapter 497, The Destitute Daughter. The 4 members of the Qin family practiced the 5 animals exercises for a while, and everyone's health improved a lot. Prefect Qin and Mrs. Qin were very curious about their son's ability to learn such magical kung fu. They called their son to their side and asked the young boy where he learned the 5 animals exercises. Because of psychological suggestion, the young master could not tell the name of the secret base and Su Qingni, so he only vaguely said that someone taught him. Mrs. Qin had read too many storybooks, and immediately imagined that a hermit passed by Suzhou and saw her youngest son. She thought that the youngest son had a connection with her and taught him the 5 animals exercises. Mrs. Qin told Prefect Qin about the plot she imagined, and Prefect Qin actually thought it was right. The Su master, haha, has hidden his merits and fame. Mrs. Qin felt the benefits of the 5 animals exercises, and thinking of her parents, she wanted to draw the movements of the 5 animals exercises and send them to her mother in the capital, so that her mother could also practice the 5 animals exercises to strengthen her body and live a few more years. However, before Mrs. Qin finished drawing the decomposed movements of the 5 animals exercises, she and the young Master Qin had an accident. Mrs. Qin never had the chance to finish those paintings and send them to her parents' home. That day, the 4 members of the Qin family had dinner together. The kitchen served a bowl of sour bamboo shoots and chicken skin soup. Prefect Qin and Miss Qin didn't want to drink the soup for the time being, so Mrs. Qin served a bowl of soup to the young master and another bowl for herself. The young master held the bowl and drank it all up. Suddenly, he spit out a mouthful of black blood and fell backwards. Prefect Qin was horrified and hurriedly reached out to catch his youngest son. He heard his daughter screaming in his ears, "Mother!" Turning his head, he saw that Mrs. Qin had fainted on the table with black blood spitting out of her mouth, and most of the chicken soup in the soup bowl had spilled on the ground. "Hurry up and call the doctor!" Prefect Qin shouted. The dumbfounded servants finally reacted and someone immediately ran out to find a doctor. Prefect Qin held his son in his arms, looked at his wife whose face had turned blue and black, and then looked at a bowl of sour bamboo shoots and chicken skin soup in the middle of the dining table. His face was so black that ink could drip out. "Go, tie up all the people in the kitchen." Prefect Qin gave the order to the housekeeper. The housekeeper did it immediately. Someone poisoned the soup. The people in the kitchen must be arrested and investigated. Even those who touched the soup bowl along the way must be controlled. If the lady and the young master are not well, these people must be buried with the lady and the young master. Thinking of this, the housekeeper called the servants vigorously and arrested many people in the mansion in one breath. Su Qingni had nothing to do with the kitchen and the people who served the dishes, and just stood aside to watch the show. She was not worried about the young master's life. When she first met the young master, she gave him a talisman that could help him ward off disaster once. Even if he was poisoned, this talisman could dissolve the toxin. But Madame Qin didn't have such good luck. Although Madame Qin only drank a few sips of sour bamboo shoots and chicken skin soup, the person who poisoned it wanted all 4 members of the Qin family to die, and put a lot of poison in the soup. Even if the doctor came in time, Madame Qin couldn't be saved. Su Qingni is not a saint. She saved the young master because of the fragments of the ancestor witch's true spirit in his soul. Madame Qin has nothing to do with her, so it is impossible for her to save Madame Qin. The doctor came not slowly, but it was still too late. The poison in the chicken soup was very strong. Madame Qin was poisoned to death before the doctor came. On the contrary, the young master vomited a mouthful of black blood first, and then the toxins in his body were removed by the amulet. After the doctor took the pulse of the young master, he was very surprised and told the Prefect Qin that the young master was not poisoned. The Prefect Qin's eyes flashed, and he said to the doctor, "The child did not drink the chicken soup. He should be frightened by seeing his mother vomiting blood and fainting. Please ask the doctor to prescribe a decoction for him to calm his nerves." How could he not be poisoned? He saw his youngest son vomiting black blood with his own eyes, and the symptoms were exactly the same as his wife. But how could there be no toxins in the youngest son's body? Did something happen that they didn't understand? Prefect Qin thought of the expert who taught his son the 5 animals play. If even the 5 animals exercises that strengthen the body can be taught to his son, then it is possible to give his son other benefits, right? For example, making his son immune to all poisons. Prefect Qin has also read a lot of storybooks. The doctor didn't know the situation at the time. When he heard what Prefect Qin said, he thought that the young master didn't drink the poisoned chicken soup, but was just scared. So he prescribed the tranquilizer according to Prefect Qin's instructions and gave it to the housekeeper. The housekeeper quickly arranged for someone to go to the pharmacy to get the medicine, and by the way, controlled the maids and women who were serving the 4 members of the Qin family in the room at that time, so as not to let them know that the young master also drank chicken soup. Mrs. Qin couldn't be saved. Prefect Qin and Mrs. Qin were young couples and had a very good relationship. At this time, she was very sad. However, because of the matter of her youngest son, she was less sad, but she was still very sad. She forced herself to let people take care of Mrs. Qin's funeral and investigate who wanted to harm his family of 4. As a result, it turned out that it was related to the previous concubine. The person who poisoned the concubine turned out to be the concubine's childhood sweetheart, who was also the concubine's admirer. The concubine was not willing to be the concubine of the Prefect Qin. She had a good relationship with her childhood sweetheart and wanted to marry him. But she didn't know that the Prefect Qin's mother gave the concubine to the Prefect Qin. Now she became half a master, and the thoughts that she didn't have before were aroused. She was too careless, and she didn't even take the wife into consideration because she was pregnant. How could Madame Qin tolerate such a concubine? In addition, the little son she gave birth to was in poor health. If he was not carefully taken care of, he might not live long. If the concubine gave birth to a healthy son, wouldn't it be a big threat to her own son? So Madame Qin took action, not only causing the concubine to miscarry, but also losing her ability to reproduce. The concubine hated Madame Qin deeply, so she took action against the young Master Qin, wanting to let Madame Qin taste the pain of losing her son. Unfortunately, what she did was discovered by Prefect Qin and Madame Qin. Not only did they deal with her, but they also implicated all her family members and relatives. They were sold far away, and the family was separated. It was not known whether they could reunite in this life. My aunt's childhood sweetheart had no relationship with my aunt and was not driven out of the Qin family. He hated Prefect Qin's family because of my aunt's death, and wanted to avenge the woman he loved. Later, somehow, this person was found by Prefect Qin's political enemies. The political enemy gave the childhood sweetheart poison and asked him to poison Prefect Qin's family of 4. After Prefect Qin found out the truth, he had the childhood sweetheart beaten to death, and his family was sold directly to the coal mine to do hard labor. Is it worth it to implicate the whole family for a woman? As for Prefect Qin's political enemies, a year later, the family was raided and the whole family was exiled to the border. Chapter 498, The Destitute Daughter. After dealing with his wife's funeral and the murderer who murdered his family, Prefect Qin finally had time to care about his son's problem. He called his youngest son to his side, and the father and son talked in private. Prefect Qin asked his youngest son, "Did the master give him the elixir that can make people immune to all poisons?" "Young master?" ? The young master shook his head blankly. "I didn't eat anything. Instead, he often took cakes to Su Qingni." "Did the master give you anything?" Prefect Qin asked. The young master thought about it and took out his purse. Although the young master had many purses, this purse contained the amulet given to him by Su Qingni. Su Qingni told him to carry things with him at all times. The young master listened to Su Qingni very much, so he always carried the purse with him. Prefect Qin took the purse, opened it, and poured it out. As a result, only some black ash fell on the palm of his hand, and there was nothing else. "Huh? Why is it black and gray? The ugly painting is gone." The young master grabbed the purse in confusion and searched for it several times, but he couldn't find the amulet. Prefect Qin was moved and asked the young master, "What does that ugly painting look like?" The young master replied, "It's just some very messy lines, twisted and distorted." She said it was an abstract painting. Prefect Qin didn't know what an abstract painting was, so he just asked, "What color is the paper of the painting? What color are the lines?" The young master, "The paper is yellow and the lines are red." Sure enough. It's not an abstract painting, but a paper talisman. "I think it's because my son is too young," and the master used the term abstract painting to fool his son. Prefect Qin thought about it, feeling happy and regretful. He was happy that his son's life was saved by the paper talisman given by the master, but it was a pity that there was only one paper talisman and it had been used. In the future, his son would have nothing to save his life. And ran. "Can you still see that, master?" Prefect Qin asked his youngest son. The youngest son nodded. There was nothing wrong with this. Prefect Qin's eyes flickered, and he said to his youngest son, "Then maybe you can ask the master for one." No. 3 paper talismans drawn by the master. Paper talismans. Abstract paintings. "Oh, sure. When I meet her, I'll ask her for them. She should be able to give them to me, right? She draws every day, and she has accumulated a lot of abstract paintings. Even if she doesn't give them to me, I can steal a few." The young master said. "Don't steal." Prefect Qin quickly taught his youngest son that he must not offend the master. Stealing is not a gentleman's behavior. The young master was dizzy after being taught a lesson by his father, and nodded repeatedly to indicate that he would listen to his father and not steal anything. Prefect Qin was curious about the master, and asked the young master, and ran, "What does the master look like? Is he an old Taoist priest with white hair and a youthful face?" How could the young master tell what Su Qingni looked like? He only denied that the master was not an old Taoist priest with white hair and a youthful face. When Prefect Qin saw his son opening and closing his mouth but unable to describe the appearance of the master, he felt that the master was even more powerful and unfathomable. He did not embarrass the young master anymore. Prefect Qin asked the young master to go out and stayed in the room alone to think about how to make friends with the master. It would be best if he could meet the master in person. Unfortunately, the master was elusive and he did not know when his son had contacted the master. Prefect Qin thought of this and called the housekeeper into the study and secretly gave him a few instructions. The young master did not know that his father had sent someone to follow him secretly. He would go to the secret base to see Su Qingni at a certain time every day. He asked Su Qingni for 3 amulets according to Prefect Qin's instructions. The spiritual energy in this world is insufficient, and the success rate of drawing amulets is very low. It takes 20 to 30 to succeed in drawing one. Su Qingni has only succeeded in drawing 5 amulets in this period of time. 1 amulet had been given to the young master before, and there were still 4 left. The young master asked for 3 as soon as he opened his mouth, and Su Qingni was not stingy and gave all 3 to the young master. Anyway, she could still continue to draw talismans. The young master got the amulet and happily went to find Prefect Qin. Prefect Qin got the amulet and knew that he had guessed right. It was indeed a talisman. That must be a Taoist master. Prefect Qin stuffed an amulet into the young master's purse, and told the young master to carry the purse with him as before. He also put an amulet in his own purse and took the young master to see his daughter, Miss Qin Yiren. The father and his sons had dinner together. Prefect Qin gave the last amulet to Qin Yiren, and also told his daughter to always carry it with her. Qin Yiren was a filial little girl who cherished the things her father gave her very much. She put the amulet in her purse very cherishingly. Prefect Qin let his daughter and youngest son take a nap and returned to the study. After a while, the housekeeper came in to report to him. The butler reported the movements of the young master in a day in a low voice, and Prefect Qin narrowed his eyes slightly. The young master disappeared all of a sudden. Yes, after half an incense stick of time, the young master suddenly appeared again. The butler said, "I went there to try it myself. No matter how I walked, I would eventually turn to the small road outside and could not get close to the wall. I felt that there seemed to be an isolated space by the wall, which only allowed the young master to enter, but not others." The butler followed Prefect Qin from the capital to Jiangnan, and had seen a lot of things. Naturally, the butler was not too surprised by the strange things happening to the young master, but had his own insights. Prefect Qin nodded. That expert is a member of the Zuanmen, who can use paper talismans to help Anran resolve disasters. It is not difficult for him to find a hiding place. Tell them not to approach that place again, just observe in the dark, and if anyone walks out from there again, report to me immediately. Yes. The butler took the order and left. Su Qingni didn't know that Prefect Qin was eager to meet her, the expert, and secretly had people waiting in the yard for her to show up. Su Qingni stayed in the secret space as usual until the lights were turned off, then she came out from behind the rockery and returned to the room where the maids lived. The people hiding in the dark were very surprised. There was indeed someone coming out from there, but it was not the expert they imagined, but a little maid. Could it be that the little maid had a relationship with the expert? In addition to the young master, the good man also likes such a little maid? This girl was really lucky. She was favored by the expert, and this time she was like a sparrow turning into a phoenix. The people in the dark were envious, carefully memorized the appearance of the maid, and went back to report to Prefect Qin. As soon as Su Qingni came out of the secret space, she found someone secretly peeping at her. After a quick thought, she understood what was going on. Chapter 499, The Destitute Daughter. The amulet saved the young master, and Prefect Qin would definitely find out. The young master came to the secret base every day. As long as Prefect Qin kept an eye on the young master, he would naturally find something wrong with this space. Sit back and wait. Didn't he find her? Alice, after a comfortable time in the Qin family, it was enough and she could leave. Su Qingni decided to leave in the middle of the night. However, she didn't expect Prefect Qin to act so quickly. As soon as she returned to the room where the maid slept, someone came to her and said that the master wanted to see her. Su Qingni thought that she couldn't leave for the time being. Su Qingni came to the outside of Prefect Qin's study. The servant announced outside the door, and Prefect Qin immediately let someone in. Since Su Qingni was discovered, she didn't hide her aura. She walked into the room, and Prefect Qin's eyes lit up immediately. Although the girl in front of her was dressed as a maid, she had a beautiful appearance and outstanding temperament, giving people a feeling of superiority. This is not their maid, but a little master, and she must be won over. Little master. Prefect Qin bowed to Su Qingni with a very upright attitude. Su Qingni returned the greeting politely, but it was not the courtesy of a little maid to her master, but the courtesy of a Taoist. Prefect Qin saw this courtesy and understood that Su Qingni did not regard herself as a maid in his Qin family. This person committed herself to the Qin family as a little maid, and I am afraid there is some hidden reason. He has a good impression of this girl. Just because this girl was able to track the master and let the master teach his son and save his son, he is also grateful to this girl. Su Qingni greets Master Qin. Miss Su, please sit down. Prefect Qin made an invitation. Su Qingni sat down on the chair, and the housekeeper personally served tea, left the study, and stood guard at the gatehouse. Prefect Qin sat down opposite Su Qingni, looked at Su Qingni carefully again, and secretly gave her 32 thumbs up. Such a demeanor is a few points better than the daughters of aristocratic families in the capital. Miss Su, thank you for taking care of my son and saving his life. Prefect Qin thanked Su Qingni first. Su Qingni waved her hand. The young master and I have a destiny with our master. Su Qingni made up a master for herself, At her current age, even if she said that she was the master that Prefect Qin mentioned, Prefect Qin would not believe it. Having an elusive master can also provide an extra guarantee. When Prefect Qin heard Su Qingni mention her master, he immediately became excited and hurriedly said, "I wonder if your master is still in the mansion. Can I meet your master?" Su Qingni shook her head and said, "Master has taught me everything he should teach me, and now he is traveling. Gone." Prefect Qin was very disappointed. Then Inran brought back the paper talisman today, so your master was not gone at that time, right? Could it be that he didn't want to see himself, so he left after giving his son the paper talisman? Su Qingni said, "I drew those 3 amulets." After a pause, Su Qingni added, "I also drew the amulet I gave to the young master." The amulet was drawn by the little girl in front of him. He originally thought that the little maid was just lucky and met the master at the same time as his son. But now it seems that the little girl has known the master for a long time, otherwise she would not have the ability to draw amulets. According to the housekeeper, the little girl has been in the Qin family for less than a year. The master must have known the little girl before she entered the Qin family, and the master came after the little girl. The little girl is probably not an ordinary person. Miss Su, since you are the master's disciple, how did you end up being a slave in my Qin family? Prefect Qin asked his doubts. Su Qingni thought about it and said, "I was adopted by someone, and that family sold me for money. The master said that I had few relatives in my life, and it was a good opportunity to exchange the adoption feelings of that family for several years. So I obeyed the family and sold me. The master also said that I needed to temper my heart in the mortal world, so I took this opportunity to temper myself in the mortal world for a few more years. He did not take me away directly, but let me enter the Qin mansion. The master occasionally came to the mansion to teach me skills, and made a space at the edge of the garden that only the 2 of us could enter and exit. Who knew that the young master could actually enter and exit the space? The master felt that the young master and my master were predestined, so he asked me to teach the young master the 5 animals exercises to strengthen his body, and gave the young master a talisman. So that's it." Prefect Qin suddenly realized. He couldn't help but be happy for his son. With the protection of the master, his son would definitely grow up healthily. In the future, the Qin family would have successors, and no longer have to worry about incense. "Well, Miss Su." Prefect Qin felt a little embarrassed to ask a little girl about his offspring, but since it was related to the inheritance of the family bloodline, Prefect Qin asked shamelessly, "My Qin family has been a single-line family for generations, and there have been few branches. Miss Fan, can you help the Qin family improve it? At least Inran's next generation can have another grandson, I will be satisfied." Su Qingni saw how weak Mr. Qin was before practicing the 5 animals exercises, and then looked at Mr. Qin's healthy appearance now, and said, "The Qin family has been a single-line family, which is related to the Qin family's weak physique. Now the young master is in good health, and the foundation lost by premature birth has long been made up. In the future, when you get married and have children, it will not be like your ancestors. It will be easy to break the fate of a single-line family, and having many children and blessings is not a dream. Not to mention the young master, even you, the master, are now in good health. Even if you remarry, you can have children again." Mr. Qin was happy and sad to hear this. It's good that his son can have many children and blessings. As for himself, he and Madame Qin had a very good relationship and did not want to remarry. Besides, who knows how the wife who remarried would treat the 2 children? What if the second wife treated Anran and Yiren badly and did something bad to them after having her own biological children? For the sake of the 2 children, Lord Qin did not plan to remarry. Lord Qin changed the subject and talked to Su Qingni about something else. The 2 talked for a long time in the study, after which Su Qingni gave up the idea of leaving the Qin family and stayed in the Qin family temporarily. The Qin family had a new cousin, who would be Miss Qin's playmate and teach the young master of the Qin family from time to time. In return for a comfortable life in the Qin family, Su Qingni would help Lord Qin look after Miss Qin and young Master Qin and protect them to grow up safely. Chunlin and the maids who entered the Qin family with Su Qingni were surprised and jealous to see that Su Qingni had become a lady of the Qin family in a blink of an eye. They secretly said a lot of bad things about Su Qingni. After being caught by the housekeeper's wife, they were all sent to the manor. Seeing that the master valued his cousin so much, the other maids dared not say anything bad about Su Qingni. They treated Su Qingni with great respect, making Su Qingni's life in the Qin family quite stable and comfortable. Chapter 500, The Destitute Daughter. Since she enjoyed the Qin family's offerings, Su Qingni would naturally return some benefits to them. In addition to the 5 animals exercises and the amulets given to the Qin family, Su Qingni also taught the Qin family's young lady medical skills. Although the young lady could not practice medicine, she knew medical skills, which would give her more self-protection in the backyard fight and could easily solve the calculations of medicine. If she encountered something like Mrs. Qin again, if the Qin family's young lady knew medical skills, she might be able to save her mother in time. Su Qingni taught the young master more things, including medicine, divination, astrology, chess, calligraphy and painting, mechanical miscellaneous work, trade and migration, planting, drinking and singing, guessing riddles, the 5 elements and 8 diagrams, Kimandungia, farmland water conservancy, economic and military strategies. As long as the young master was interested, Su Qingni would teach him and train him as a disciple of the Xiaoyao sect. Of course, martial arts must be learned. When the prefect Qin saw the lessons his son had to learn, he was amazed and quietly reduced the time his son spent studying the 4 books and 5 classics. Well, my son must be very tired to learn so many skills, so I shouldn't be so strict with him, right? If my son learns all these skills, I don't have to worry about his future, nor do I have to force him to take the imperial examination to become an official. Miss Qin originally only focused on learning medicine, but when she saw that the young master wanted to learn so many skills, she became interested and wanted to learn those many skills from Su Qingni. Although many of these skills are not useful to her, a lady from a big family. But the little girl is very studious and studies more seriously than her brother. The little girl is very smart, smarter than the young master, and naturally learns better than the young master. The young master has his sister to compare with, and his original careless attitude has changed. He has become hardworking and never thinks of being lazy again. 2 years later, Prefect Qin was very happy to see that his 2 children were not only extremely healthy, but also very capable. These 2 children have the ability to protect themselves, so even if they leave their side, they can live well, right? Prefect Qin held the letter in his hand and made a decision in his heart. After dinner that day, Prefect Qin sat down to talk with his son and daughter. Seeing the look of the father and son, Su Qingni thought that Prefect Qin had something important to say to his son and daughter, so she went back to her own yard obediently, leaving the space for the 3 members of the Qin family. "Father, is there anything?" Qin Yiren asked. Prefect Qin nodded and said, "I received a letter from your grandmother, saying that she wants to take you to your maternal grandparents' home, and let her teach and take care of you. It just so happens that you are about to finish mourning, and after you finish mourning, you can go to your maternal grandparents' home in the capital." "No, I don't want to leave my father." Qin Anren was still young, and he immediately shouted and objected. He had no impression of his grandmother or his maternal grandparents' home, so he didn't want to leave his father and go to someone else's home. Qin Yiren didn't want to go to her grandparents' house either, so she asked softly, "Father, why do you want me and my brother to go to our grandparents' house? Isn't it good for me and my brother to stay with you?" Prefect Qin sighed, "Your grandmother did it for you. I won't marry again, and you are the eldest daughter who lost her mother, which is one of the 5 things you shouldn't marry. But with your grandmother's teaching, others can't find fault with you, and it will be better for you to get married in the future." Qin Yiren frowned. She understood that it was difficult for the eldest daughter who lost her mother to find a husband because the husband's family was worried that the girl would lack rules and etiquette without the guidance of her parents' elders, but she had talked about this problem with Sister Su, and Sister Su gave her a solution. "Father, you can ask 2 maids from the palace to teach your daughter." Prefect Qin heard this suggestion, and a light flashed in his eyes. "This is a good idea. Okay, when I return to Beijing, I will help you find a maid in the palace. 2 is not enough, so I will find 4 for you." Qin Yiren and Qin Anren were both happy. "Then we don't have to go to my grandparents' house." "No, you have to go." Prefect Qin's words dissipated the happiness of the 2 children. The 2 children hung their heads in disappointment, like eggplants hit by frost. Prefect Qin reached out his hand and rubbed the heads of the 2 children lovingly, saying softly, "We are only separated temporarily, you go to Beijing first. When your father's term of office is over, apply to be transferred back to Beijing, and then our family will be able to reunite in Beijing." Qin Yiren and Qin Anren calculated that Prefect Qin's term of office was still 1 year away. However, They could endure the separation for a year. Prefect Qin added, "Your grandmother is old, and she has always loved your mother the most. Your mother died, and your grandmother was very sad. Your trip to Beijing is to show filial piety to your grandmother on behalf of your mother, and to comfort your grandmother's love for her daughters." Yes. Hearing their father say this, the two children naturally could not refuse, and they also felt a little close to their grandmother in the capital. The next day, Prefect Qin found Su Qingni and told her about sending the two children to the capital. He begged Su Qingni to go to the capital with him and secretly protect the two children. Cousin seems to be on guard against the Jin family. Su Qingni was surprised that Prefect Qin was so wary of his out-of-law family. If that was the case, why did he send the two children to his out-of-law family? Prefect Qin sighed. He did not hide anything from Su Qingni, the little master, and told Su Qingni about the out-of-law family, the Jin family. The Jin family is a duke's mansion. The ancestor of the Jin family followed the founding emperor to fight from the beginning, and was awarded the title of Duke of the State for his meritorious service. The next two generations held military power and had many connections in the army, which Shivan the emperor would be wary of. However, starting from the generation of Mrs. Qin Jin Raoyan, the males in the family began to switch from military to civil service. But it was not particularly successful. In addition to the daughter Jin Raoyan, there were two sons in the duke's mansion in this generation. However, the two sons had no talent in studying. In the end, the eldest son inherited the family title, and the younger son relied on the face of the old Duke of the State to seek a sixth-rank civil official position in the court. However, the son-in-law and daughter-in-law of the Jin family are both from civil service backgrounds. Not to mention that Prefect Qin himself passed the imperial examination. His two daughters-in-law, one is the daughter of the Minister of Rights, and the other is the daughter of the Imperial College's Jiju family. The Jin family is expressing its attitude to the emperor that they will not be involved in military power in the future. The emperor seems to be happy on the surface, but in fact he is still wary of the Jin family. The Jin family just stopped leading troops, but they still had connections in the army. In particular, the Jin family got involved in the struggle for imperial power, although they claimed to be orthodox and supported the crown prince. However, the emperor was already dissatisfied with the crown prince, so how could he be satisfied with those who were jumping around the crown prince? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.